these effete, pathetic excuses for men to get his response on the new report.
I love being able to stay home with Angela. I mean, it's a lot of work, but I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
What a f***ing pussy. For more on this story, check this week's Onion Review.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. You are invited to dial in toll-free, where you can take control of the airwaves at 855-450. Free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we've got Skype as well. You can Skype in here and take control, bring up whatever's on your mind. Skype username is LRN.FM. Joining you in our studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Conan.
And Daryl.
To start things out here tonight, I guess this is somewhat breaking news. Certainly it was news of the day today out of the United Kingdom, outside of Julian Assange's, what do you call it, room? In the Ecuadorian embassy? He's sharing a room with the Ecuadorian?
He's sharing, right, and I feel like I have to point out, because generally when people think of embassy, they think of
a big building,
large flowing estate.
Fences around it, armed guards.
The Ecuadorian embassy in London is a flat.
That's a room. That's like an apartment.
It's a room in an apartment building.
Yeah.
It's a room.
Right. With special diplomatic protections.
An embassy.
Yeah. So therefore, it has that room. Just
that
the
room is
has special protections.
Right. That is non-territorial territory or extraterritorial territory.
It's basically a little piece of Ecuador, right? That's inside
Correct, but it doesn't count as, like square mileage of Ecuador.
Okay. All right. And Julian Assange, of course, has been there since, I believe, 2012. Yeah, according to the story here at the Daily Mail, since June of 2012, so a solid almost 6 years of his life at this point. He has been in that room, in that flat, and he has been posting on social media, and apparently, according to the Ecuadorian government, it's the Ecuadorian government who's cutting off his internet.
Ruh-roh.
And this, according to the Daily Mail, officials announced Wednesday they were taking the measure in response to Mr. Assange's recent activity on social media. As part of an agreement between Mr. Assange and the Ecuadorian government, he is not permitted to send any messages that could interfere with the South American nation's relations with other countries. He's been living at the embassy since June of 2012 to avoid extradition to Sweden to face questioning over allegations of sex crimes, which he has always denied. Now, Sweden has since dropped that case, but Mr. Assange remains subject to arrest in Britain for jumping bail. Mr. Assange also believes he'll be extradited to the United States for questioning over the activities of WikiLeaks if he leaves the building. And we had reported previously that the British government had round-the-clock surveillance on the Ecuadorian embassy, and at least at one point in the past, and probably still do, because they really want this guy. They really want to get Assange. Of course, for those who are unfamiliar, he is ostensibly the founder, the spokesperson, the head of WikiLeaks.
Yes.
Which is the international free press organization that has revealed all kinds of, damning information about government activities.
War crimes. They have leaked information about war crimes.
That and more. I mean, some of the Clinton emails or whatever didn't necessarily have to do with war crimes, but they, leaked out a treasure trove of those.
The vast majority of the Private Manning stuff was war crimes.
That's certainly what's getting the government the most angry, I'm sure, is releasing information that they wanted to keep quiet. So Assange also believes he'll be extradited to the U.S. Former Greek minister Yanis Varoufakis and musician Brian Eno said in a statement they had heard with great concern about the lost internet access and a ban on visitors. Quote, only extraordinary pressure from the U.S. and Spanish governments can explain why Ecuador's authorities should have taken such appalling steps in isolating Julian. They added that the Ecuadorian government had only recently granted Mr. Assange citizenship, saying that it must have been leaned on mercilessly to stop attempting to provide a diplomatic route to safety and to even drive the WikiLeaks leader out of the embassy.
According to the BBC.com, this has come right after he started questioning the Russian spy killings, the latest Russian spy killings, which is probably complete bunk. But everyone seems to be getting on board the whole. It's Russia's the bad guys, and we need to do everything in our power to stand against them.
But why would Ecuador get all upset
I
about
think that maybe England is probably leaning on them now. I mean, but that's a really good question. Why is America all on the "we hate Russia and let's stand against them" mode?
Well, because
They need an enemy.
Cold War needs to be revived.
Bring it back.
Yeah, I know, but but who is it actually coming from? It's coming from the Democrats, the live in the individuals who used to stand with Russia when they were, of course, the commies that they
I see what you're
have
saying.
been taught in school. And now all of a sudden, it seems that the Hillary-loving, Bernie-loving Democrats are beating the war drums to go to war with Russia even harder than the
Republicans.
Than the Republicans. It's very strange times that we live in.
Well, as they say, politics makes strange bedfellows.
So, and now Ecuador, now South America is also jumping on board. So what does Russia know? What do they actually have on all of these countries, or as far as except for minerals and oil?
Well, I think that Russia and Ecuador are friendly with one another, which is why Edward Snowden wound up flying through Russia to get to Ecuador.
Right.
And the Brits recently expelled some Russian diplomats because of somebody, I don't know who exactly was poisoned, but they blamed the Russians. Mm-hmm. And so if Assange is questioning whether or not the Russians were actually involved in these things, or I don't know what he was
we don't know what
saying.
the post was. We don't know.
But I did pull up an article from Reuters, and Ian, you mentioned that he's wanted by the UK for
bail jumping.
Jumping bail. The reason he had bail conditions was because of the Swedish investigation that was dropped almost a year ago.
Yeah. And of course,
so it's akin to being convicted of resisting arrest and nothing else.
Right.
Well, why was I being arrested? Because you were resisting.
Yeah, that doesn't follow. It's just not logical. But that's government for you, and we've seen that happen on a multitude of occasions.
Yes.
That kind of thing. So I know Assange had been tweeting. I think he's got his own personal account. I haven't checked that to see.
At Julian Assange. He has not tweeted in over a day.
Okay.
Last tweet,
what were the
March
last tweets?
27th.
Give us the last few tweets just to see if there's something there that we can obviously identify as like this might have set off the
last
Ecuadorian.
Tweet, context, and then a link to the Reuters article that I just mentioned. Mm-hmm. Prior to that, as a political prisoner detained without charge for 8 years in violation of 2 UN rulings, I suppose I must be miserable, yet nothing wrong with being a little person, although I'm rather tall and better than a worm, a healthy creature that invigorates the soil than a snake. And then the context is where he references being called a worm, where some British foreign minister guy calls him a miserable little worm.
Yeah, Foreign Office Minister Sir Alan Duncan branded him a miserable little worm during a Commons debate on Tuesday, adding that he should leave the Ecuadorian embassy and surrender to British justice. Assange said Britain should come clean on whether it intends to extradite me to the United States for publishing the truth and cease its ongoing violation of the UN rulings in this matter.
Last tweet before that, he retweeted something from a French media outlet, or at least I believe it to be French because the writing is in French, and Twitter asked if I want to translate it from French, where the statement, Assange's lawyer, when the states have secrets, they never leave the person in peace. And then link over to an article.
For sure.
Prior to that, he posted a link to an article from the American Conservative. Is Al Jazeera News a hostile foreign agent? Where he says U.S. officials demand Al Jazeera register as a foreign agent. So I'm not seeing anything necessarily
Ecuador
damning.
Or some sort of thing that Ecuador would be really upset about. So yeah, we don't know what's going on here, and if he's had his internet access revoked, what is that going to mean? Is it temporary? Are they trying to punish him for something, and they're going to give it back? Because all they're going to result in is just people outside protesting. I'd seen a post online earlier. It was actually Kim.com from the Mega Upload company who is also wanted by the U.S. government for more than questioning in that case. But Kim Dotcom posted, hey, everybody needs to get outside of the embassy and keep an eye on this place to make sure, because the thought initially was that it was the British government that had cut off the internet access and that they were preparing to raid. So that has not happened yet, apparently, the raid aspect of this. And indeed, if it was the Ecuadorian state, then there's probably not an imminent raid. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. If you want to join us, you can. This is Free Talk Live.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
You've heard of Bitcoin Cash, but did you know there's now a Bitcoin Cash wallet? The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. The Bitcoin.com wallet supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
I'm Ryan Burke. I'm the head cider maker at Angry Orchard, and we're in Brittany, France. I wanted to make Angry Orchard rosé cider out of my love for rosé wine. We came here and found these red-fleshed apples. It's a really rare fruit. The apple brings a right, refreshing, natural taste to the cider and a deep, nice pink rosé hue. Our rosé is a little bit less sweet. It's got a really nice balance for any occasion. It's a really refreshing drink.
Angry Orchard Cider Company, Walden, New York. Drink responsibly.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever is on your mind. All you have to do is dial toll-free to join us here, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we do have Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. In the studio here tonight, you've got Ian.
And Conan.
And Daryl.
Also want to make sure you're aware of Liberty.menu. If you're a libertarian, if you're a voluntarist, if you're somebody who understands the ideas of non-aggression, then Liberty.menu is the site for you. In fact, you can go there and you can actually put your business up on Liberty.menu. It is a business guide, basically, for people that want to connect with business owners and service providers that are of a Liberty mindset. And so whether you are a business owner and you want to list your business, or you're a customer, a potential customer, and you want to find places where you can shop and do business with that are freedom-friendly, this is the site. People have been wanting this tool for a long time. It's finally here, and it works great. It looks good, it's easy to use, and most importantly, it's free. So there's no reason not to go to Liberty.menu, create an account, and put your business there, or businesses. Maybe you've got more than one. Maybe you're putting together an event. I know, Daryl, the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire's got something coming up. Have you guys put that on Liberty.menu yet?
Several months ago.
Excellent. So, yeah, Daryl's on the ball. He is like the top user over there at Liberty.menu the last time I looked, so I'm not surprised that you did that. Also, ForkFest, the upcoming decentralized camping festival. I put that up there a few weeks ago. Even though nobody's in charge of that, somebody's got to put it up there, so I figured I'd get the points rather than letting you do it, Daryl, since I'm like number 7 on the list of top submitters.
You are number 7.
Yep. So you can go there and see that and get interactive and create content, or maybe comment. Maybe you've been to one of the businesses that are already up there on Liberty.menu and you want to leave a review or a rating. You can do that. Liberty.menu is totally free to use. Now, there are some upgrades you can, if you want, you can pay for. But basically, it's free. So go and enjoy and get your stuff listed. Not just businesses, but also, as I said, events and even digital content over at Liberty.menu. As we continue here, was there more to say about Assange? I mean, it's sort of in a state of unsure what's going to happen. He's got his internet that's been cut off. Apparently, the Ecuadorian embassy that he's staying at has claimed responsibility for disconnecting his internet access. So
I think out of everything that he has done, I think that he is really starting to push on the steeple, on the tower. And that is
which tower?
And that is the playing around with the Russian narrative. That Russian is the bad guy. That they are here to kill us all. And if we don't start bombing them immediately,
did he say that, or is that just something you're speculating?
You're saying he's countering that, or that he's saying that?
I'm saying that is exactly. He countered the Russian nerve agent attack. He says that maybe we should get to the facts instead of just immediately calling them out. And then the next day he loses his internet connection. So I'm assuming that's what it is. But out of all the things that he's done, no one seems to raise an eyebrow as far as the media is concerned. As far as, of course, the USA is trying to take him into custody and whatnot. But I don't hear a whole lot about him on the mainstream media.
No, there's not a whole lot to say. I mean, usually the only time he gets into the news is if something's happening at the embassy.
Right.
So
his flat.
The flat.
Don't go out on the porch, man.
I hope he's got some books to read. Because if he doesn't have internet, then it's going to be pretty dull in there.
I wonder what the inside of his room looks like. I wonder if he's been.
If he even has a room, he might just be on a cot. They might have a cot set up for him in the corner.
A rollaway bed.
Like that. Yeah, a little twin mattress or something just thrown over in the corner. Because it doesn't sound like it's big digs over there at the Ecuadorian embassy.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you want to comment on that, you're welcome to do so. Yesterday, one of the stories that I had to share and we didn't get to was this opinion piece that got a lot of people talking online on social media and such. From what I understand, a couple folks pointed it to me. John Paul Stevens is a former Supreme Court justice who apparently retired, I guess, back in 2010. And he has now written an article, an op-ed for the New York Times entitled "Repeal the Second Amendment," which is a pretty big claim from somebody who has supposedly spent their lifetime upholding the Constitution of the United States.
Right, but there are people that claim to be constitutionalists that will point to various different aspects of the Constitution that they think should be repealed.
Yeah, and
for somebody that used to be on the Supreme Court saying, "Hey, I think part of this document needs to be changed," I don't see it as some, like grand flip-flop.
No, it's not a big surprise.
Well, I mean, I guess at least he's trying to repeal it, which is, the way to do it,
as opposed to passing laws,
as opposed to reinterpreting it in his own light.
Yeah.
So I guess in that way, it's a lot better than it could be.
He's being a little more honest than some people. He says, rarely in my lifetime have I seen the type of civic engagement school children and their supporters demonstrated in Washington and other major cities throughout the country this past Saturday. He's referring to the marches that occurred and the protests. There was one right here in Keens Central Square. We've actually got video up right now thanks to Vincent, sometime co-host here on Free Talk Live and the host of Questioning Authority on Saturday nights on LRN.FM. He was actually out there with a video camera documenting the event for a class assignment, and he happened to run into Chris Reitman, who's our Thursday night co-host, who happened to see the event. I mean, there was no real good planning on our side on this, honestly, but it kind of fell together.
Yeah, I didn't even know the things were happening until...
I knew they were happening, but I
think it was late Friday. I was going out to the Seacoast on Saturday.
You already had plans. Yeah.
Somebody said, hey, just so you know, there's an anti-gun protest happening at the same time as the LP meeting. Parking might be difficult.
Right.
And it was a pretty big turnout, if I'm not mistaken, compared to, say, like the Women's March last year. I mean, this is probably 2 or 3 times more people.
I
at
heard
this
there
event.
were as many as 200 attendees in Keene, which is a lot of people for a small little park in the center of town. So anyway, that happened, and if you do want to see the video footage, it is up right now at freekeene.com. I linked to it over there in a post, I think, yesterday or the day before that. But here's more from the Supreme Court guy, John Paul Stevens, former Supreme Court Justice. He says that these demonstrations demand our respect. They reveal the broad public support for legislation to minimize the risk of mass killings of school children and others in our society. That support is a clear sign to lawmakers to enact legislation prohibiting civilian ownership of semi-automatic weapons, increasing the minimum age to buy a gun from 18 to 21 years old, and establishing more comprehensive background checks on all purchasers of firearms. Does this guy know what a semi-automatic weapon is?
Probably not.
Yeah, because if you ban semi-automatic weapons, if you prohibit civilian ownership of semi-automatic weapons, you've basically prohibited ownership of all guns.
Mm-hmm. And of course, and I opened
except
with
a musket.
I opened with he was talking about repealing the Second Amendment, but if he's talking about enacting his legislation to prohibit certain abilities.
Well, no, he's asking for a straight-up repeal.
Well, but before that, but he also it also sounds like he wants to enact laws.
Yeah, he seems really confused because if you prohibit civilian ownership of semi-automatic weapons, then there's no reason to increase the minimum age to buy a gun, because no one could buy a gun with the exception of a single shot, musket that you have to kind of like unload every single time you want to fire another round.
Well, there are single shots that aren't muskets.
Right. But either way, you'd have to put in another shot every single time. The semi-automatic means it fires as quickly as you can pull the trigger, basically.
Correct.
Is what that means. It's not an automatic where you hold the trigger down. There's more coming up here. This is Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Tired of being censored by Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Patreon? Well, now you don't have to be. OneWay.com is the free speech and human-friendly social network built just for you. Stop feeding the beast. Every post you make on those evil, anti-human, anti-American perverted sites helps them destroy our families, our country, and our souls. Join One Way today and take back your liberty. Your free speech alternative is waiting for you at OneWay.com. OneWay.com.
A congressman recently revealed that legislation totaling 2,900 pages and involving more than $1 trillion was available to members of Congress for less than 48 hours to study and consider. That's over 60 pages of legislation per hour. Do You think anyone read the entire bill? I'm Jim Babka with DownsizeDC.org. Consider a proposal buried in a 3,200-page, $388 billion bill, which would have empowered committee chairmen or their agents to examine Americans' tax returns. When this horrible provision came to light, no one claimed to know how it got into the bill. One congressman questioned said, "I didn't write it, I didn't approve it, I wasn't even consulted." If your attorney represented you this way, he might be disbarred. But this is how Congress represents you every day. That's why DownsizeDC.org has created the Read the Bills Act. You can force Congress to read their bills before they pass them at DownsizeDC.org.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com. The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Talk Live, you are invited to join us right here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. Here in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Conan.
And Daryl.
Don't forget, you can also jump on our on-air call-in line room in Discord. So if you haven't yet checked out our Discord, you can do that over at discord.lrn.fm. It's a chat service that has different rooms. There's one for Free Talk Live, but there's other kind of rooms that you might find interesting. Everything from cryptocurrency to video games to the upcoming ForkFest event coming up this summer. So there's rooms for different conversations there if you want to have them. Of course, during the show, most people are talking in the Free Talk Live room, which you can go and access over at discord.lrn.fm. Conan just hooked himself up with a $6 Shirts Bitcoin t-shirt here. He's got the Bitcoin accepted. What does it say?
Nope, just says Bitcoin.
Just says Bitcoin. So the Bitcoin logo with Bitcoin on it. And that made me wonder, did $6 shirts take Bitcoin? I mean, they must, right? If they have Bitcoin shirts, turns out they do.
Yep.
So if you want to purchase your $6 shirts, which has a tremendous selection. I mean, I'm not exaggerating.
As Donald Trump would say, it's huge.
It's huge, yep. And it is there for you. All kinds of cool shirts with logos that you're going to recognize, with like movie-related shirts and video game-related shirts. Daryl, you were just saying that they have a highlighted shirt every single day.
Yeah, the Tea Time deal of the day, where it's a $4 shirt.
Real? Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Oh, and the one where I had just asked,
You have to sign
what's
up for their
this-
emails, and then you get it for
what's this Hawkins Middle School? Apparently, that's a Stranger Things reference. Stranger Things being some new TV
Very
show.
popular. I hear a lot of people talking about that one. That's one of those Netflix shows, I think.
It's pretty decent. And so yeah, $6 shirts, lots of puns.
Lots of good stuff. Also, like I said, video gaming. They got sports related. They've got pop culture, politics, all kinds of different categories. You're going to definitely find something you like, and you can load up the cart and even get a bigger discount by getting like 10 or more, I think. And in addition, you can get 10% off of your order by using code FTL. So 10% off with code FTL, and you can pay it with Bitcoin. So you really do get it all and some cool shirts over there at $6 Shirts. That's the number, $6shirts.com. As we continue here.
You know they're from my hometown, Gainesville, Florida.
I didn't know that.
34th Street. I remember the building.
They're good folks, too, listeners of Free Talk Live.
Yep.
So check them out, $6shirts.com. As we continue here with the editorial piece at the New York Times, this appeared a couple of days ago. Actually, it was yesterday morning was when this was published. And this is John Paul Stevens saying, repeal the Second Amendment. He says that lawmakers should take the protests in this country as a clear sign to enact legislation prohibiting civilian ownership of semi-automatic weapons, increasing the minimum age to buy a gun from 18 to 21 years old, whatever few guns would remain, single shotguns, I suppose, that do not have any kind of auto or semi-automatic loading ability, which would, I imagine, reduce the amount of potential guns that could be sold after such a change to very, very few.
And while trying to find this article, I stumbled across something that John Paul Stevens wrote back in, I lost the date here, several years ago, 2014, 5 extra words that can fix the Second Amendment. So he's been on this, we need to either change it or amend it or repeal or whatever for quite a while.
He does say here, so the final bit of this paragraph is that he wants to increase the minimum age and establish more comprehensive background checks on purchases of firearms, but the demonstrators should seek more effective and more lasting reform. They should demand a repeal of the Second Amendment.
Wow.
Now, before we go on here, he's saying that the mass support of this protest on Saturday was a clear sign to lawmakers. Well, no, what it was a sign that some people have enough time to go out and protest. I mean, there have been protests for all kinds of things that don't really have that much support. I mean, for instance, if the state representatives here in New Hampshire put forward a let's abolish the gun freedoms of New Hampshire bill, then all of a sudden, all the gun people are going to come out, and they're going to turn out en masse in the State House, and they're going to testify against that proposed legislation. And they will likely be successful because it's very hard for gun control people to actually get their legislation pushed through, even with all the mothers and children being, touted and trotted in front of the state legislature, as they always do.
Right.
They always bring out the mothers against, there's mothers against drunk driving. There's this mothers group, I forget what they're called.
Moms Demand Action.
That's what they are, yeah. And they're funded by George Soros or something like that.
But this is New Hampshire.
Yeah.
So I mean, and I could see
the rest of the country's screwed.
I could see the same thing happening in Texas, but what about California?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Illinois, it's going.
Illinois.
But what he's
Maryland.
actually saying is hey. If your kid is whining and screaming and complaining in the shopping in the store, in the public store, in the grocery store, you need to buy him that cheap piece of plastic to get him to shut up, because that's how I'm interpreting this.
Wait, huh? I don't understand what you're saying.
High school kids are saying we need to ban guns because scary, and Conan is saying that in turn means that mom and dad, if the kid's in the grocery store or the toy store and I want this, just go ahead and do it because it's a whiny little kid, and whiny little kids apparently know better than everybody.
You're likening a large group of whiny children to
usually it's the adults who are the whiny children, but in this case it's actually whiny children. And this guy's going, we need to. Well, of course, we know what his agenda is. Daryl just brought up an article where he's trying to change the wording over the years. But I mean,
back in 2014, he wanted to add the words "when serving in the militia" to the Second Amendment so that it would say a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms when serving in the militia shall not be infringed, so that it is clear in his mind that this means that the government is giving the government permission to own guns.
Right.
Well, I'm serving in my own militia right now, my own personal individual militia.
Of one.
Yeah.
That's not allowed, sir.
Every day.
Concern, this goes on here, and it's not that long of a piece. Concern that a national standing army might pose a threat to the security of the separate states that led to the adoption of that amendment, which provides that a, quote, well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, unquote. Today, he says, that concern is a relic of the 18th century.
Hold on, so He's
saying it can't happen here. He's saying
he's in support of a standing army.
Yes.
All right, that's what I thought I heard.
He's saying it can't happen here, though. So he's saying that in the past, it was a legitimate concern.
Oh, right. So just go ask the Japanese Americans if internment camps can happen in the United States. Ask the Native Americans if all of their rights can be stripped in the United States of America.
Well, but he would argue that that's old news. I mean, you're talking about something that was nearly 100 years ago for the Japanese Americans being interned.
A court case that has never been overturned. The internment of Japanese Americans just because they happen to have had Japanese ancestry was
upheld by the Supremes?
The Supreme Court upheld that as valid and legal, and it has never been overturned.
He goes on. He says, for over 200 years after the adoption of the Second Amendment, it was uniformly understood as not placing any limit on either federal or state authority to enact gun control legislation. In 1939, the Supreme Court unanimously held that Congress could prohibit the possession of a sawed-off shotgun because that weapon had no reasonable relation to the preservation or efficiency of a, quote, well-regulated militia, unquote. So apparently the Supreme Court just gets to decide what guns people can have, even though it shall not be infringed.
Well, they get to define a well-regulated militia, and I guess sawed-off shotguns don't work well in war.
Yeah.
Well, I saw something where it said,
and actually, they probably don't. Yeah, I think I would rather have an AR-15 or an M16 than a sawed-off shotgun.
I saw something not too long ago where it said, person A, an AR-15 is not going to protect you against an F-16. Person B, okay, I guess I need an F-16 too.
Well, with the sawed-off shotgun, you may not be protecting a battlefield. You might be protecting internals of a
your front door,
hallways, or something like that, and you might need a shorter barrel in that case. But regardless, the Supreme Court has determined they know what a well-regulated militia is, and they should decide what weapons should be allowed. So we're going to continue.
Keyword, regulated.
We got more coming up here in moments. 855, 450, free like freedom. And you're right, there are some loopholes there that they've pushed all this gun control legislation through. Daryl, more coming up.
I'm Ryan Burke. I'm the head cider maker at Angry Orchard, and we're in Brittany, France. I wanted to make Angry Orchard rosé cider out of my love for rosé wine. We came here and found these red-fleshed apples. It's a really rare fruit. The apple brings a right, refreshing, natural taste to the cider and a deep, nice pink rosé hue. Our rosé is a little bit less sweet. It's got a really nice balance. For any occasion, it's a really refreshing drink.
Angry Orchard Cider Company, Walden, New York. Drink responsibly.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. The Bitcoin.com wallet supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. Download the Bitcoin.com wallet for easy and secure access to your Bitcoin Core and your Bitcoin Cash. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
BuySellMakeOffer.com.
BuySellMakeOffer.com. You got it?
BuySellMakeOffer.com.
BuySellMakeOffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Boost Kid Essentials Nutritionally Complete Drink, providing your picky eater with essential nutrition and great taste in one drink. Visit us at kidessentials.com. To make sure your kids eat healthy, follow the 5-a-day plan. Serve 3 servings of vegetables and 2 servings of fruit daily. Remember, a serving could just mean a piece of fruit or a half cup of veggies. If your kids are picky eaters, ask a nutritionist about other sources. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, talking about the proposal here by former Justice of the Supreme Court John Paul Stevens. He's just come right out and saying, go ahead and abolish the Second Amendment in an newspaper editorial over at the New York Times yesterday morning. We're sharing more of that with you coming up here. Your calls and thoughts certainly welcome. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You can get behind the LRN.FM Patreon for $2 a month if you support us having the show Free Talk Live, Daryl's shows, all the other great shows over on LRN.FM, 24-hour streaming, 7-day-a-week Liberty Radio Network. You can help us keep that on the air across sub-Saharan Africa and North and Central America, which is where we currently have our satellites pointing. But there are other satellites that we could add if we could afford to do so. And you can help us out with that. For $2 a month, you get access to the Patreon over at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm. As we continue here, of course, we will take your calls about whatever's on your mind. We'll also share the remainder of John Paul Stevens' piece. But first, I believe we're going to go to the phones here if the phones are working correctly, and they are. So let's go to Bartle. He is on the line on the Discord on-air call-in line. Go ahead, Bartle.
How you doing?
Hey, you're calling from Texas. Go ahead. It's on your mind
Calling from
tonight.
Ball Lake, Texas, Bartle. Just trying to figure out what they're trying to do with the Second Amendment, trying to take that away. I don't appreciate that.
Hold on, Bartle, you're kind of excited. Have you been hanging out with James recently?
You may not know who that is.
Bartle and James.
Well, I just said it.
It's an alcohol reference.
Oh, I thought you were referencing James, our angry caller.
No. Bartle and James.
Yeah, I'm not much of a drinker.
That's not what they're trying to do. Is just it's out of control. They're trying to figure that. Over here in Malt Licky, we don't want that. You guys know what I'm talking about.
He reminds me of the Onion piece on incomprehensible shouting.
Yeah, I have no clue what you're saying.
I love it. He's mad. I mean, he's clearly mad.
Oh, I know he's mad. I just have no clue what he's saying.
Now, what happens if they ban guns, Bartle? What are you going to do? If they ban guns and they try to come and get the
I'm
guns.
going to walk down and be buying a bunch of guns that I can get out there and can't have them trying to take them. But I'm all up if that's what I got to do. They've been just forget about all up there. That's what I said to head out to the store down there and Malt Liquor. Just do it.
I agree.
He's going to grab malt liquor at the store, and he's going to be buying a bunch of guns. I mean, it sounds like a solid plan.
Which is a good thing because gun sales are...
You guys is in Schwarzwitz?
Thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you.
Yeah, gun sales are down. We need something to happen so we get them back up, right?
Just go grab the malt liquor.
They're not down.
This could be a gun sale conspiracy. This whole thing.
It could very well be.
Everything's a conspiracy with you, Conan.
There are a lot of them out there.
Well, didn't Obama sell more guns than like any other president?
Sure did.
He didn't actually do the selling.
He did. He was the salesman. He's probably
might be getting a commission on the back end.
Exactly.
Although, I guess if you're talking about the Fast and Furious program that he had Eric Holder oversee, where they were selling guns to the Mexican drug lords, then yeah, Obama did directly wind up seeing some guns be sold.
So let's continue with your calls and thoughts here. We go to Big Loaf. He's on the line, also in the Discord on-air call-in line room. Go ahead, Big Loaf. Hello? Big Loaf? Oh, wait, I muted him. Sorry about that. There you go. You're all right now.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Yes,
sir. I can tell you why people aren't buying more guns, and I apologize for my TV in the background. But yeah, it's simple. The reason people aren't buying any more guns is we can't hold anymore. Like, it's physically impossible. Like, my wife won't even let me bring all my guns and ammunition in the house. Like, we just built a new house. She's like, where is this 10,000 rounds going?
You got to get a storage unit. Start just, stacking them up in there.
That's a horrible idea.
No? Why? Because it could get robbed?
I mean, it sort of kind of seems legit. I mean, but
I'm just thinking, if you're getting a storage unit and then spending a bunch of money to store something, then it's not a good economic idea.
I would say an environmentally controlled storage unit would work. Not just something down the street with open to the elements. That's a good way to.
Or just get an underground bunker under your house,
all wet, like in. Like our basements
you have to temperature control that too.
Exactly.
If you do that.
Yeah, I mean, but seriously. Yeah, seriously, there are like people out there that I know personally that have so much ammunition in their house, they had to double floor joist and put cinder blocks under the joist, right? And in my experience or case in my old house, right, our bedroom's on the second floor. My closet had all my stuff in it, and it was literally causing the floor to sag a little bit, like a half an inch. So not a lot. But yeah, I mean, people just don't have the capacity.
How many of these people with the loads of guns and ammunition are actually going to hand it over if they repeal the Second Amendment?
Man, not a lot.
I wonder what portion of them, because we know that when Connecticut a few years ago after the school shooting down there, they restricted some amount of guns, and they actually had people lined up to turn in their guns. So the question was, what percentage of the gun owners of Connecticut actually turned them in versus hid them?
How many people lost them in a boating accident?
Yeah, but again, that's Connecticut. That's not New Hampshire or Texas.
Nope, that's true.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully they turn them in one bullet at a time. But anyways, gentlemen, I thought I'd call in with that. So,
all right, Big Loaf. Thanks for the call tonight.
Yeah, store your heavy items around the perimeter of your house, not right in the center.
So it doesn't crash through the basement.
Exactly.
So toll-free number if you want to join us here, 855-450-FREE. Let's continue with the piece from John Paul Stevens, it's the former Supreme Court Justice, who's writing an article saying that the United States should just go ahead and go all in and repeal the entire Second Amendment. He says that for over 200 years after the adoption of the Second Amendment, it was uniformly understood as not placing any limit on either federal or state authority to enact gun control legislation. He then cites the Supreme Court finding that they could ban sawed-off shotguns back in 1939. He says during the years when Warren Burger was our Chief Justice from 1969 to 1986, no judge, federal or state, as far as I'm aware, expressed any doubt as to the limited coverage of that amendment. when organizations like the NRA disagreed with that position and began their campaign claiming that federal regulation of firearms curtailed Second Amendment rights, Chief Justice Burger publicly characterized the NRA as perpetrating, quote, one of the greatest pieces of fraud, I repeat the word fraud, on the American public by special interest groups that I have ever seen in my lifetime, unquote. In 2008, the Supreme Court overturned Chief Justice Burger's and others' long-standing settled understanding of the Second Amendment's limited reach ruling in District of Columbia versus Heller, that there was an individual right to bear arms. I was among the 4 dissenters. That decision, which I remain convinced was wrong and certainly was debatable, has provided the NRA with a propaganda weapon of immense power. Overturning that decision via a constitutional amendment to get rid of the Second Amendment would be simple and would do more to weaken the NRA's ability to stymie legislative debate and block constructive gun control legislation than any other available option.
Now,
He's
I'm
right
going
about
to,
that.
Right.
That's the way to do it, but I'd like to see him try to repeal it. It's not happening.
I would like to see them try to do that. Not because I want to see them do it, but because if they are successful, I think you would see a new call for secession.
Yes,
Probably.
exactly.
Yeah.
Now, again, 4 years ago, he called for amending the Second Amendment.
That's right.
And I agree that it should be amended, not
the way
he wants it to be done, because, you've got all of these commas in there, and then you wind up with dangling participles and everybody arguing about, well, it says well-regulated, and then it says malicious, so it means only the... All right, here's an idea. Let's amend it, and I've got some pretty good wording in front of me. All persons have the right to keep and bear arms in defense of themselves, their families, their property, and the state. How about we take that wording?
Okay. Was that from New Hampshire?
That is New Hampshire. That was adopted in 1982.
I was surprised when I saw that it took them so long in New Hampshire, one of the most gun-friendly places to put that in.
Right, but again, most people recognize, or at one time recognized, that just because a right is not specified in a government document doesn't mean that you don't have it. Matter of fact, that's what the Ninth Amendment says. Just because it's not listed here doesn't mean that you don't have the right.
So
That's
you're
where
saying that in New Hampshire back in the day, they just figured this was such a guarantee that they didn't even have to write it down.
We've got no need to write this thing down.
No government would try to take...
Kind of like when the Second Amendment was first put into place. Everyone had guns. No one was talking about self-defense or hunting or sportsman shooting, because that was a given. Everyone was already... They never thought that would leave.
Well,
It was all about defending against tyranny.
Yeah.
Right, and one of the arguments against putting in a Bill of Rights to the Constitution was, wait a second, if we start trying to enumerate things, people might wind up thinking that this is a comprehensive list.
Yeah.
And that's where the Ninth Amendment came from.
All right, we're going to continue here. We got time for you. Your calls, thoughts are certainly welcome. Our number is 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Coming up, something that I don't think we've discussed on Free Talk Live is this Cloud Act thing that is apparently not good at all if you care about freedom online. And Daryl, you're going to run down what that means, what has happened with this Cloud Act, because apparently it passed, and we'll tell you what that's all about coming up.
I tried other brands, but I came back to my Sunshine.
For the best hot or cold pain relief, get the best. Get a Sunny Bay heating pad.
Sometimes life can be a pain in the neck or back or shoulder.
And the best relief for that pain is a Sunny Bay heating pad. Did you know that the American College of Physicians said that one of the best ways to treat muscle pain is heat therapy? Sunny Bay heating pads are handmade with high quality, can be used at home or at work, and have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy.
Why take another pill?
Many people use our Sunny Bay heating pads alone and got rid of the neck pain.
Long distance travel or long hours in front of a computer can take its toll on your body.
See why our homegrown small business at sunny-bay.com has tried to help people just like you. Get your Sunny Bay heating pads at sunny-bay.com. That's sunny-bay.com, or call 253-678-1361 for hot and cold therapy. sunny-bay.com.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. SaveAtPurse.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, March 28th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.42 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,335 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $17, and the average price of Bitcoin is $8,014. Antiwar.com reports embedded within the vast $1.3 trillion omnibus bill, the U.S. Congress included a provision which quietly managed to slip through. This limits U.S. provisions of deadly arms to Ukraine's military, specifically excluding the neo-Nazi-linked Azov Battalion from getting U.S. arms. This was the first time this language, which originated in the House, was proposed, and it actually got included 3 consecutive years' House military spending bills, only to be stripped out in committee to reconcile the bill with the Senate versions. Theoretically, officials note the Leahy law should have already precluded the Azov Battalion from getting U.S. aid, given the faction's history of war crimes. Proponents, however, note that the State Department never recognized those crimes, meaning it wasn't clear if they'd followed the law or not. This led to the inclusion singling them out. Though originally a militia and still presented as one in many reports, the Azov Battalion is formally now part of Ukraine's special forces and recognized as a National Guard regiment within the country. This is in recognition of their eager attacks on separatists in the ethnic Russian East. The battalion's actual origin dates all the way back to 1982, however, when they established themselves as a band of violent soccer hooligans loyal to FC Metallist Kharkiv. When the civil war in eastern Ukraine began, they quickly reorganized as a paramilitary force, first quasi-governmental and then later official. The group has come under fire for its use of looting and torture, and media reports have many of the fighters in the faction wearing swastika helmets and having SS tattoos. The formal logo of the group includes the logo of the fascist Social National Assembly, though Ukraine's government has claimed all attempts to label them neo-Nazi are Russian propaganda.
You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. That's shop.fppradio.com.
UPI reports a federal appeals court ruled Google violated copyright laws by using Oracle's software when developing its Android mobile platform. Judges from the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit ruled Google's unauthorized use of 37 packages of Oracle's open-source Java Application Programming Interface, or API, while constructing the Android platform in 2009 was unfair as a matter of law. Google argued its use of Oracle software was protected under fair use because it did not directly charge clients to use it, but Oracle said Google's actions were devastating to its licensing strategy as many customers switched to Android. The judges wrote the fact that Android is free of charge does not make Google's use of the Java API packages non-commercial. The ruling reversed a previous district court decision in favor of Google in 2016 and remanded the case to a federal district court in California for a trial on damages. Oracle had been seeking about $8.8 billion in damages at the time of the previous ruling.
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
Reuters reports New York, California, and other states vowed on Tuesday to stop the U.S. government from asking in the 2020 census whether people are U.S. citizens, arguing the question could stop immigrants from participating and skew the makeup of Congress. The U.S. Census Bureau decided to include the citizenship question in the once-a-decade questionnaire, saying an accurate count of citizens would help protect minority rights under the landmark Voting Rights Act of 1965, according to the Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross. But opponents feared the decision would have the opposite effect. Arturo Vargas, executive director of the National Association of Latino Elected and Appointed Officials Educational Fund, told reporters it's a scare tactic to try to scare Latinos and others from participating in the 2020 census. Pending legal action from the states or an unlikely intervention from the Republican-controlled Congress, the citizenship question would appear in the decennial census for the first time since 1950. New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman said he would lead a multi-state lawsuit to block the decision. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Shortly after members of the New York Police Department found a super sharp Buck brand pocket knife earlier this morning, Lieutenant Joseph Mattioli spoke to Onion reporters at the scene of the discovery to update the public on this potentially deadly blade.
At 8:40 a.m., police discovered what seems to be a pretty badass buck knife. Investigators believe it to be basically the deadliest knife ever.
Mattioli confirmed that the pretty cool wood-handled knife has a clean edge and added that the blade must be, quote, at least like 8 inches long.
At this time, we'd like everyone to be aware that there's probably a man out there with an eye patch and scars all over his face that has access to these knives, or maybe even a samurai sword. We urge people to be careful when approaching him because he may flip out and chop both your arms off before you even realize it.
Following the announcement, Mattioli asked people to come forward if they had any information about the owner of the knife or if they just wanted to hold it for a couple of seconds. For more on this story, check this week's Onion Review.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. Dial on in, toll free as we launch here into the second hour of the program. Our number's 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And the Skype username is LRN.FM. Also, you can jump into our on-air call-in line room. So far tonight, actually, that's where most of our callers have come from. So you can jump in there, too, over at the Discord chat, which is discord.lrn.fm. With you in studio tonight, you've got Ian.
And Conan.
And Daryl.
We're going to go back into your calls and thoughts here in a moment. But also on the way, Daryl's going to tell us about the Cloud Act, which is yet another Orwellian, creepy-sounding government nightmare being forced down the throats of the internet world.
But it sounds so pretty.
Clouds.
Who could be against
It's just
clouds?
a happy little cloud.
Right, they're all happy, right?
But Bob Ross would be cheering happy little clouds.
Except for the dark ones with thunder and lightning. And so we'll find out what this one is all about. Which, honestly, I've only seen the headlines. I've only seen that there's something that was something really bad that they hid in the omnibus package or something like that. And so you're going to reveal that for us coming up here. But people are still responding right now to the justice from the Supreme Court who retired in 2010, John Paul Stevens, who wrote a piece for the New York Times just coming right out and saying he wants the U.S. government to abolish the Second Amendment. And your calls, your thoughts, welcome. Let's go to them where we have Mark on the line in Jersey City. Mark, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead. Mark in Jersey City. Do we have you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, you're on the air,
Hello?
Mark. Go ahead, sir.
Are we in front of a lot of people?
You are on the radio in front of I don't know how many thousands, so go ahead with your thoughts.
Oh, gosh, I get really nervous. I was just thinking about getting a gun to protect myself because I've been seeing on the television all these people jumping and rioting and, it's kind of scary. I think if I get
what exactly are you...
Mike, who are you afraid of? You're afraid of the rioters?
Yeah,
These
what are you
kids?
worried about?
If I had maybe a gun, I wouldn't be as scared to go out. I have to stay.
Well, I think
you're in New Jersey, right?
It's a bad place to own a gun. There's no doubt about that.
Are you even allowed to do that in New Jersey?
I just think I can get it, right? Oh,
It's a lot harder than you probably think it is.
I'm also thinking this might be some kind of really bad prank call.
It's definitely, but it's still cute because he's pretending as though he's super scared and needs to get a gun. Here's the thing, though, Mark, is
I'm
if you
not joking around here.
Okay.
I need a gun to protect myself.
well, but
From whom?
Here's the thing, and thank you for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. Here's the thing: if you are scared of the outside, if you're scared of what's going on out there,
if you're an agoraphobe,
and then you get a gun thinking that you're going to be more courageous because you have a gun, you've got to understand, if you don't know how to use a gun, if you have no experience with a gun, then you ought to be more scared if you have a gun because you don't know what the hell you're doing and you're tooling around with a very dangerous object that if you don't know what you're doing, you don't put the safety on, you don't understand how to keep your finger out of the trigger guard, you don't point a gun at a thing that you don't intend to destroy. There's certain rules, that you should follow.
You don't carry it in your waistband. That's how you wind up shooting your wiener off.
Exactly.
It's the same as if you're operating a heavy piece of equipment and you've never done it before.
And you've never done it before.
It's the same thing. But
take classes.
But you know who he sounded like? He sounded like a lot of the kids, the really young kids that they've been bringing on the news in the last couple of days.
I thought he sounded like somebody trying to do a Mort Goldman impression.
He sounded like a hand-wringing liberal kind of.
He sounded like one of the first graders that came out, and she was afraid to go from one class to the other. She was afraid to use the bathroom because she was afraid she was going to get shot
on the way
there. And I really, the media is doing a very good job of scaring the actual BS out of these people, and it's a sad thing because. I'm sorry, man. You have a much better chance of dying driving down to the supermarket to get milk.
You mean in a car crash?
In a car crash than you do.
Or being run over while walking down the street.
Or dying from obesity, or dying from heart disease, or dying from smoking.
Or being shot by the police.
Or
right?
dying. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
I saw a statistic. There have been, 450 times as many people shot by police in the last decade as there were victims of mass shootings.
And by the way, liberals, whenever they take our guns, who's going to be in charge? It's that guy you've been calling Hitler for the last year and a half?
Trump?
Yeah, I mean, come on now.
He's literally Hitler.
He's literally Hitler. And
please take our gun. Wait, that's what Hitler did.
Pick up a history book. This is when liberals should be coming out in arms wanting to buy up the guns because guess what? Your president is Hitler. Come on now.
The very same president was a Democrat in the past, was he not?
To be fair, Hitler killed himself before he reached Trump's age.
Well, I mean, we live longer these days, Daryl.
Let's go to Robert. He's in Bellows Falls, Vermont. Robert, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Compare Trump to Charlie Manson.
Okay. Pick your murderer.
Right,
go ahead.
That's not why I called, though. I called because I found a story that came out of the Vermont Digger a few hours ago. There's been a lot of talk on the radio today about the census, the 2020 census. And this story came out of, like I said, the Vermont Digger a little while ago. Says Donovan, who is the Attorney General, denounces citizenship question on the census.
Oh, right. So Trump and company are planning for the first time since 1950 to ask the question, are you a U.S. citizen on the census?
Oh, so it would be a new question. All right. Or a return of an old question.
A return of an old question that is not required by the Constitution,
Only
not
one
required by
is,
law.
Is required by the Constitution, which is how many people live in the household. And don't forget, you didn't sign the Constitution, so you're not required to answer that question. If you doubt me on that, I refused to answer any of their questions in 2010. Video recorded their approaches to my home. Those videos are up on Free Keen's YouTube channel, and so if you want to see what it's like when you refuse the census, you can see that. And they never even followed up with more than just one more visit. It was
has
2 visits.
Anybody ever answered the questions to us? I've never actually talked to one of these guys.
Oh, when they came and knocked, you ignored them, or you just weren't home, or what?
Exactly.
I've never had a visit from one of them, but...
Where were you in 2010?
I was living in South Carolina, and I filled out the first question and then, scratched through everything else.
I see.
And they never visited, or if they did visit, it was when I was at work. I never saw them.
They didn't leave a calling card or anything
like
that.
Yeah, of course, I've never gotten jury duty either, so I guess they just don't like me.
So what are you going to do,
Anyway,
Robert? You going to answer the question?
It goes in and says Attorney General Donovan joined several fellow attorney generals and other Democrats on Tuesday in sharply criticizing the Trump administration's plan to include the question about citizenship in the 2020 census.
Yep. California Attorney General has already filed suit against this.
Right.
New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman says that he would lead a multi-state lawsuit.
All right, good.
It says a citizenship question would significantly depress participation and result in an undercut of states' populations, the Attorney General added. Donovan's statement stopped short of saying Vermont would be a co-plaintiff with other states suing to block the move by Census Bureau, which is part of the U.S. Department of Commerce.
I got to say, I love it when the states and the government, the federal government, fight with each other because that's fewer resources that they can target the people with. So if they're fighting amongst governments, then I say more power to them. Best of luck, and I hope that they're successful. But I would just remind everybody, and thank you, Robert, for the call tonight. Thanks for bringing that forward. Just remind everybody out there, again, as far as I can tell, and this isn't legal advice, you don't have any obligation to talk to these people, let alone answer their questions. Right. They might threaten you. There's usually some sort of threat that goes along with the American Community Survey or the census suggesting that they could do something, but we've never heard of them doing anything to anybody who's ever refused, with the exception of sending another bureaucrat over to try to get the answers out of you, in which case you can just ignore them knocking on your door. You have no obligation to open the door and talk to them. But if you do talk to them, you don't have to answer their questions. So keep that in mind. And again, check out the Free Keene YouTube channel. Just search for Census on there, and I'm sure you'll find both of those videos. So, toll-free number here tonight, 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Coming up, the Cloud Act. Daryl's going to share with us what that's all about. Plus, we're going to take your calls as well about what you want here on Free Talk Live.
This is Daryl W. Perry, host of Free Talk Live. This November, I'll be running in the world's biggest and most popular marathon, the New York City Marathon, and I've accepted a spot on Team Innocence Project because I'm a passionate supporter of their work. Since 1989, 353 people in the United States have been exonerated by DNA testing, including 38 who pled guilty to crimes they did not commit, and 20 of whom served time on death row. The Innocence Project provided direct representation or critical assistance in 180 of these cases. With your help, the Innocence Project can help even more people who have been wrongly convicted. As part of Team Innocence Project, I'm raising awareness about wrongful convictions and raising funds to help free the innocent. I've already paid the race registration fees. However, to secure my spot on Team Innocence Project in the New York City Marathon, I need to raise $3,500 by November 1st. You can support the Innocence Project and help me secure my race entry by going to run.freetalklive.com. The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. Download the Bitcoin.com wallet for easy and secure access to your Bitcoin Cash. It's perfect for beginners, and the Bitcoin.com wallet makes using and holding Bitcoins easy. No logins are required. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at Zencash.com. That's Zencash.com.
If you're looking for work, the person you are applying to is probably so swamped with applicants that he or she is tough to reach. So call early in the day, before 8 a.m., before the palace guards arrive. You'll need your prospect's direct number, and here's a sneaky way to get it. Suppose the company's main number is 555-5000. You should call 555-5012. When someone says, "Good morning, Pam Johnson," you should innocently say, "Oops, somebody here must have written this down wrong. I was calling for Tom Frederick. What's his direct number?" If the very next thing you hear isn't Pam giving you Tom's number, it may be, good morning, Tom Frederick. For more tips for job seekers and getting better results in all your day-to-day communication, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial in toll free. Join us here. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And our Skype username here is LRN.FM. Tonight with you, it's Ian.
And Conan.
And Daryl.
Bitcoin.com. That's where you can go if you want to learn the basics about cryptocurrency. Learn about Bitcoin, the original, the one that started them all, and that's the best place to go. Bitcoin.com. It's easy to remember. They've got the basics, but also they've got the latest news headlines. If you are not so new to Bitcoin, you want to follow along with what's been happening in the news with Bitcoin around the world, just go to news.bitcoin.com, and you can do that there, and it's a free site to check out over at news.bitcoin.com. As we continue here, we can go to your calls and thoughts. We'll start out with Bad Slave. He's in New Hampshire. Hello, Bad Slave. Oh, wait, stand by, actually. We had Bad Slave. I'm going to bring him back. I forgot I had two calls on the same line for the moment there. Bad Slave, now we have you. Go ahead.
Cool. Thank you.
You're on.
Ian and
we got Conan and Daryl.
Yes. Daryl, yes. I'm sorry. Listen, I think you kind of covered the Second Amendment. Actually, repealing it wouldn't mean anything to the actual state of rights. The state of rights in the Bill of Rights is that we all have them, whether they're listed in the Constitution or not. And Daryl, your point about people were concerned about actually listing them, because then somebody can come along and unlist them and then claim that they never had them, which is, complete bull. I mean, the other thing that
but that's what they're trying to do. That's what he wants to accomplish.
And our right to a horse and buggy is not in the list. And look at all the hoops we have to jump to just to drive from point A to point B, and all the money we have to pay every year to get our very
He knows a lot about that. He spent 2 years in prison over driving.
To be fair, Conan, the North Korean Constitution recognizes the right to travel and freedom of speech, but they don't really have either.
Yeah, well, the fact is that they've never done anything about the true right to travel, which is on the public way, in the common mode, in people's private capacity. And if you're, our friend Dick Marple, brought that up very clearly in court and in legislation, and
then subsequently lost in court. So you're referring to a state representative here who is very entertaining and very interesting to watch,
and continues to get reelected every year.
And it does get reelected. I mean, he's an interesting character. He puts forward some pretty good sounding legislation, most of which goes down in flames. But one of them did get kind of moved on through the State House this year, as I recall. I forget which one
and
that was.
there's the hearing on it tomorrow.
Which
it's
one
the,
was that? Jury
jury
nullification bill. Yeah, so he's got
the
some
jury,
good ones.
And jury nullification is probably not the best term. It's definitely closest to what it is.
It's an improvement, is what he's
deals
proposing.
with the jury instructions that are read to a jury, and it replaces the existing jury nullification law that's not a jury nullification law.
Right, that the Supreme Court here determined was not a jury nullification
law.
law.
And if you actually read what it says, it says that the defense can instruct the jury about the application of the law as it pertains to the defendant. Well, if I am seen on video selling 5 pounds of marijuana to somebody, and then I'm charged with driving without a license or jaywalking, obviously I was charged with the completely wrong thing. Here's the facts of this case. Here's what this law says. You determine the application of this law.
Yeah, it was a little nebulous, and this new proposal is going to make it more clear. But anyway, Dick Marple was in a court in Concord, and I was there to record almost every hearing that he had, where he actually argued openly with the judge, refused to take the seat in the courtroom. He was standing behind the bar. So he kind of he utilized a lot of these courtroom conspiracy theory tactics, which I very rarely see anybody actually attempting to do. So, kudos to him for actually being willing to try something new, to try something different, and do it on video and get it on the record. But ultimately, even though... And I think that one of the reasons why he wasn't arrested immediately for talking back and basically yelling at a judge is because he's old and also a state representative. If you and I had tried that, Conan, we probably would have gone to jail for contempt. But ultimately, he lost the case, was found guilty, and when I asked him if he was going to appeal, he said that, well, he couldn't appeal because that would be consenting to the jurisdiction of the courts. And so he put in some sort of notice to the Secretary of State's office, challenging the judge's decision.
But isn't sending a letter to the Secretary of State also acknowledging jurisdiction?
I guess he doesn't think it does, and I don't know what's happened since then. I suspect nothing.
Now, you said this was all tried new, but is this new for Dick or just new for you getting it on tape for the first time?
It's new for me getting it on video. I don't know how many times he's been in front of judges for things like driving while license suspended, which is what I believe he was arrested for in that case. So, I mean, I like the idea of freedom to travel, Bad Slave. It's just the government courts certainly don't respect it.
Well, this is the whole creep. I mean, the other area that's huge that nobody's talking about is grand juries. Grand juries had way more power. The juries themselves, the prosecutors, the judges, any other person coming in and with testimony had no power. The grand jurors have all the power, and they don't use it. And they just give a rubber stamp to whatever the prosecution says.
That's right.
And I actually had a dialogue with Dennis Hogan, I think is a current county attorney in Hillsborough, and on Facebook he was running to get back on because he got he lost in the previous election.
Okay. And what were you talking with him about?
And I was talking him about the fact that one of the things that you can do with the grand jury is other people, and as a matter of fact, it's actually more for the rest of us to go in and do presentments to the grand jurors.
What did he say to you?
He just denied it. I mean, just like the drivers, just like not the driving, but the right to travel. It's just ignored.
This is an area that's a couple of activists had some interest in several years ago. We've been doing jury outreach, informing regular pettit jurors of their right to nullify. We've been doing that for years here in the Keene, New Hampshire area, probably a decade now of pretty regular, although I missed it last month due to traveling and I forgot to ask somebody to fill in. But for the most part, pretty regularly doing the jury outreach. But one of the things that Sam Dodson actually wanted to do years ago, this probably would have been 8 years ago now, was come up with some sort of grand jury outreach form some kind of propaganda
Right.
that we can hand to the grand jurors as they come in. And Abel, thanks for the call tonight. Unfortunately, nobody really knows enough about the grand jury process to write the propaganda up, to explain it to people, to tell them the truth. We don't really know what the truth is. I mean,
they don't want you to know the truth.
Right. And how do you find that out? If you have charges you want to bring in front of a grand jury, how do you do that? Can the grand jury...
Talk to the prosecutor.
Yeah, and then they're going to be like, take a hike.
Yes.
More coming up here in moments. 855 450 free like freedom. What do you know?
Anytime, any place, anywhere. Radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
The answer to being in control of your own healthcare is freedom from insurance. Become part of a group of self-pay patients that come together to share in each other's medical expenses. Individual share amounts begin at $107 a month and $347 for families. Choose from 3 health-sharing programs. Holistic treatments may be eligible for sharing. See guidelines. Discount programs available for dental, vision, and pharmacy. Go to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
Free Talk Live.
No, I just want to reiterate on what you said, and I feel you what you said about the junkie. I mean, I'm with you 100% because I had an ex-girlfriend that was like out there, and it took me a while to even find out that she was a cocaine addict. And I'm talking about I come home to all the electronics gone, and nobody broke in the house. A key was used. What happened was I was trying to be a gentleman, a good boyfriend. I got out of work. She said my car needed cleaning, it was dirty, and I ended up going in her trunk, cleaning out her trunk because that's where I kept the tie shine at. It's the exact same receipt from the pawn shop that the stuff that was missing, item for item.
Busted. Wow.
They had been to the pawn shop.
What happened when you confronted her?
She packed her stuff and said she's leaving because I don't trust her. So she gonna say she needs to leave.
Right, it's your fault.
Yeah, it's my
You're
fault.
the bad guy.
I thought I found the receipt in the trunk, right?
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern. Live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. We invite you to join us here on the radio. You can take control of the airwaves. You can bring up whatever is on your mind. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we've got Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. And we've also got the Discord on-air call-in line room, which we're going to go back to here in moments. But I do want to let you know about Zencash. They've got over 7,500 secure nodes in the Zencash system, which means that they are one of the most distributed node systems of any cryptocurrency out there. There are a lot of choices in the world of cryptocurrency. Why Zencash? Why should you consider Zencash? Well, not only do they have some of the best technology available out there, like zero-knowledge anonymity, for those of you that are concerned about privacy, you really ought to be looking at Zencash, but they've also got decentralized autonomous organizations that they're working on rolling out to govern the cryptocurrency, and more. You can go and learn more by checking out their white paper. They're a platform not just for crypto, but also for communications. You can send encrypted messages over Zencash and learn more over at zencash.com. Plus, it was founded by voluntarists, people who understand the ideas of liberty and freedom, and that's important to me, at least. I don't know about you. Check out zencash.com as we continue here, your calls and thoughts.
And you mentioned the secure nodes. They just rolled out super nodes as well. I was watching a little bit of an interview with Rob Viglione, one of the founders. And he was talking about the super nodes where it requires a higher stake of Zen be put in.
And then you get some sort of piece of the action.
And then you wind up getting a larger... Well, the super nodes wind up getting a portion of the mining thing, but the super nodes would get a larger portion because they have more set aside. And yeah, he was talking about some really, really cool stuff.
Zencash.com. It is pretty cool. Let's go to your calls and thoughts. We go to Tennessee, where Abdulaziz is on the line, on the on-air call-in line on Discord. Go ahead, Abdulaziz.
All right, so I actually want to talk about the Second Amendment.
Yes, sir.
So I don't think that the government should be taking our weapons away. I mean, let's face it, if you take the guns away, somebody's going to go grab a truck and just run everybody over.
And they've done that.
Trucks away,
yeah,
exactly.
Or fertilizer.
If you take trucks away, they're going to get machetes or hammers or whatever.
Right, because you can't ban psychopaths. I mean, nut jobs are going to find something to hurt somebody with, for sure.
Right, and generally the psychopaths wind up using government to hurt people because somehow they get reelected.
And a lot of the psychopaths are products of the pharmaceutical companies, so I don't think
how
we're
many
actually
of these kids
looking.
that have shot?
They're all morphed up.
All of them have been taking some kind of pharmaceutical prescription, antidepressant
drug,
or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
That destroys their empathy, so they don't feel that they have a connection with the community, and so they don't, and they want to leave their mark on the community because guess what? That's all the media talks about. If you are hurt by the community and you want to leave your mark, the best thing to do is go shoot up a theater, go shoot up a school.
So, Abdulaziz, you're there in Tennessee. I mean, what are people on the ground, maybe at coworkers or family members, friends, what are they saying about these proposals?
Well, I mean, I don't really talk to them, so I wouldn't know. But, I mean, from my perspective here, I think everybody shares what I think. Guns should not be taken away from the people. It's just a human right to have a gun.
It is. And if they take away guns, then they're going to take away even more freedoms as they have been. I mean, this isn't the first freedom they've taken away.
First it's guns, and it's more weapons, just like swords or blades.
Absolutely. Especially as people start. Now, you're laughing, Conan, but they've done that over in the UK. Have they not? Don't they have a knife turn-in?
No. They've got knife registration in some UK. European countries.
Yeah. Thank you for the call,
only chefs are allowed to own knives over certain
You've got to be registered with the government. It's insane.
Well,
it's
also,
crazy.
To be fair, in the UK, you also have to register your television.
That's right. You have to pay a tax. Well, no, isn't that only if you... I guess if you do just have the TV, right?
There's some kind of television registration thing.
Is it whether or not you have the cable? Like if you don't have cable,
when you buy the television,
they get you
because all the TVs have serial numbers.
Right.
I don't know what the specifics are of it, but
they actually have I've heard they've got a creepy van that drives around and detects the signals that the internal RF signals that the TV sets make, and so they can tell if you actually have a television on in your flat. there in the
Yeah,
UK.
and they also have billboards inside of the buses and the tubes.
Make sure you register.
With with a big mustached individual looking over your shoulder.
Do you know someone with an unregistered television? Call us and we'll give you, £100.
Yeah.
So thank you for getting the bust.
100 community credits.
Is that a new thing?
It is in China.
What is that?
Their ranking system that they're trying to implement.
Oh, is this that social network?
If you've been a good citizen, blah-de-da-de-da.
If you've liked your local community government page, you'll get a like on your personal sheet.
Our toll-free number here tonight is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, should you wish to join the discussion here. But we talked about the guns thing for the most part in the first hour of the show. We got through that article. So let's change gears and go into the internet, Daryl, where this Cloud Act has been apparently snuck in. This was some kind of bad news for the internet, and you're going to tell us just how bad it is.
Yeah, so the Cloud Act, the Clarifying Overseas Use of Data Act, gives law enforcement, not just U.S. law enforcement, but also foreign law enforcement, access to contents of a wire or electronic communication and any record or other information if those contents are stored in servers overseas, regardless of the privacy laws of the country where the server is stored. In addition, the Cloud Act allows the President of the United States to enter into agreements with other countries to share private electronic communications and data of individuals, regardless of the privacy laws of each country.
Wow. So basically, my understanding of this here, remember the Edward Snowden information that came out in the summer of 2013 was about how there was a lot of information sharing between the NSA and the GHQ, I believe it was, in the UK, and some of the other spying agencies of other countries.
The Five Eyes.
Right, France and some of the biggies. They were sharing information, and that was supposed to be against the rules. This would legalize that, is what you're saying.
This does legalize this.
Because they passed it. And he signed it.
It was hidden in that omnibus bill.
Right. So some people had opposed it when it was its own thing, the Cloud Act, and they'd shut it down. But then they put it in the budget bill, and well, you can't not fund the military. That's why Trump said he signed this thing, right? Oh well, he was against it, but then the military, and he had to support them. So therefore, $1.3 trillion in spending.
Thanks, Trump.
Yeah.
The sponsors, Senators Orrin Hatch, Sheldon Whitehouse, Chris Coons, and Lindsey Graham, said it allows the laws to catch up with technology. Hatch issued a statement last month saying the Cloud Act bridges the divide that sometimes exists between law enforcement and the tech sector by giving law enforcement the tools it needs to access data throughout the world, while at the same time creating a common sense framework to encourage international cooperation to resolve conflicts of law.
So common sense framework, conflicts of law, meaning we don't care what the law says, as it said, regardless of the laws on privacy in each country, they can agree. So if it's illegal to do a certain kind of spying, if it's illegal in France to do a certain kind of spying by the French government on the French people, the French government can now make an agreement with the American government to have the NSA do the spying for them. So if the NSA is doing the spying, then even if it's breaking the French law, well, that doesn't matter because the NSA isn't located in France, and so then they can just give the French government all of the information that they get. Is that my understanding?
Sounds about right.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be a government agency. Can it be a third-party private agency?
Good question.
That they hire up.
Probably, but I don't know.
Could it be Facebook?
Yeah, and then you said, actually, you told us off the air, Conan, you downloaded your Facebook profile. Apparently there's some way that you can actually go and just download the whole bulk of the data.
It's very easy.
It's in the settings.
You just go to your settings, and it's right there. I think it's right below your I quit Facebook.
And you said that they had every single chat all the way back to the very first chat you ever had on Facebook.
2009. Every single chat and it's very easy. It's much easier to scroll through it, by the way, if you want to go down that memory lane. But as far as like the advertisers who have my information, not a whole lot on my end. I have heard that some people, it's just pages and pages of their information is just everywhere.
Wow.
But I've been very careful over the years.
You got more to share on the Cloud Act,
there's
Daryl.
more.
More coming up with your calls and thoughts. Welcome. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom, 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live. You can join us.
Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 7,500 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed node systems of any cryptocurrency. Zencash is a platform for cryptocurrency and communications built by voluntarists for voluntarists, with the ideas of voluntary interaction being written into the white paper no less than half a dozen times. Learn more at Zencash.com. That's Zencash.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Fully cooked, ready-to-eat bacon. I'm talking thick, meaty, center-cut presidential bacon. Savory and delicious. I buy some, I use some, I store some. Awesome. No refrigeration needed with a 10-year shelf life. NASA-packed technology. Bacon. Fully cooked, fully hydrated, ready to eat right from the packed bacon. Or warm and served. Life-saving, ready-to-eat bacon. 10-year shelf life bacon. Ships free at fullycookedbacon.com. Fullycookedbacon.com.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial on in toll-free and join us here if you want. You can take control of the airwaves. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Here tonight, it's Ian.
And Conan.
And Daryl.
We'll continue with your calls and thoughts. Plus, Daryl's got more to share on this Cloud Act, this Orwellian, spooky sounding scary internet freedom destroying bill
that they had to hide.
Yeah, they snuck in on the however many thousands. I know I saw a picture of Rand Paul holding this humongous stack of papers,
like 2,300 pages.
Yeah, it was
something
like thicker than his head, basically. And
he's got a big old head.
And it was one of those things where they gave it to him like that night and said, "Here you go. This is what you're going to be voting on in an hour or 2 hours or something like that."
Right. The thing wasn't even presented to anybody until less than 24 hours before the scheduled vote.
Yeah, and which is not uncommon for these things in D.C., so it's the way it goes. And so in that stack of papers was this Cloud Act, which you're going to tell us a little bit more about here. But I also do want to let you know that you can help support Free Talk Live by becoming a Free Talk Live amplifier. If you like what we do, and you want to hear us on more radio stations, because we're up to almost 180, not quite, we're getting close there, 180 stations. If you want us to hit 200, 300, it's possible to do that. It just takes marketing. It takes the ability to reach out to radio stations, to contact them, to introduce the program directors there to Free Talk Live and get them to sample the show and hopefully like what we do and then eventually add us. It's a long process to get a radio station to come on board. And we can use your help. If you want to help us out, it's $5 a month. You can use your credit card. You can use PayPal. You can use Bitcoin Core to get signed up for the AMP program. And you'll get perks like access to the AMP-only call-in lines, the AMP-only podcast, which doesn't have the usual commercials our regular podcast does. You've also got the AMP-only Facebook group. There's special AMP-only chat rooms on our new Discord chat. And there's a few other perks there as well. Go get all the details. And please, get signed up. Don't expect somebody else to do it for you. If you really like what we do and it's worth the price of a fancy cup of coffee every month, the price of a cheeseburger or whatever.
An energy drink.
Yeah, basically, $5 a month. You can go and help us out at amp.freetalklive.com. That's amp.freetalklive.com. We're going back to the phones and to your calls and thoughts. Cordell Johnson on the line in New York, watching us on Twitch at twitch.lrn.fm. Hello, Cordell.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, you're on the air. Go ahead with your thoughts.
I think it's interesting that you guys are so surprised by this bill because all this stuff's been going on the down low all along. It's just in paper now. You know what I mean?
You talking about the internet restrictions?
Yep.
I'm not surprised it passed.
Well, no, it's not a surprise. We're just letting people know that it happened, right? Like, this isn't an unusual tactic for the government to find that people are against. Oh, what? People are protesting this cloud thing? All right, we're done with the cloud. We're going to put it away, folks. And then it gets snuck in. I mean, so that's nothing new, but people need to know when it happens.
The Real ID wound up getting added into like a port security bill, and all kinds of other horrible things wind up going in bills that they know are going to pass. Because who would vote against puppies?
Right.
I think that Ian is a beast and that Mark is a bitch.
All right. Thanks for the call. He's the guy who called to insult
Mark's not even
Mark.
here tonight.
Right. Yeah, Mark's not sitting in the studio.
Is that a sub-dom thing?
A beast and a bitch?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's the first time. I mean, besides his call the other night, it was the first time I've heard those two terms related.
I'll Google it.
To one another. He was referencing Tuesday night show where Mark and I were duking it out at Johnson's behest because Mark is basically wanting to, leave the United States and move to an island, and his recommendations to people are get rich and move to an island rather than try to actually attain freedom.
Now, if it was some kind of sub-dom thing, we all know that Ian would be the catcher in that situation.
What is the evidence for that?
You're smaller than Mark. He could overpower you.
Well, that's rape. That's different than...
Well, unless you were into it, and it wouldn't be. So if you were...
Right, which I'm definitely not into that. And I'm not into Mark either. Not gay. Toll-free number here is 855.
Except for video games.
Well, then, when you're
role-playing?
When you're a young lad, then, things can be a little different. You're trying to figure out life and all of that. 855-450-FREE is our toll-free number here.
Mark does have video games.
Yeah, but none that I want that bad. I can buy my own video games these days. Let's go to, is it Roy, I think, is in Miami on the Discord on-air call-in line room. Hello, Roy.
How you doing?
Hey, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Roy. I just, a lot of times people say you got to protect the Second Amendment, but I know you guys obviously aren't for people getting killed with guns. So I just wanted to know what restrictions or what actions would you take to make people more protected?
That's a good question. Do you guys want to handle it? One of you guys want to field that one?
More protected from psychos, I would say more guns. I would say the reason that
Meaning more people owning and carrying?
Correct. They go to gun-free zones where they know that they're going to be able to get 10, 15, 20 people before they have to end up taking themselves out when the Leo shows up.
Right.
Yeah. If there was a chance that some teacher was armed or there was a security officer involved, they might be less likely to go and shoot these places up because they want to get as many as they can. But yeah, more guns is going to be is a possible solution. Yes.
What do you think, Daryl? Is that a good?
I'm reminded of the African proverb that has been posted on social media a lot recently, where it says, if the youth are not initiated into the village, they will burn it down to feel warmth. So the whole statement of, and I don't necessarily disagree that, people should defend themselves, but it seems to be bypassing the actual problem. The problem isn't some guy went to a school and shot people. There was a deeper problem that caused him to do that.
Okay.
We need to try figuring out ways, to where people aren't going to want to do that.
I get what you're saying. You're saying,
and I agree. More guns is a bit of a Band-Aid.
Yeah. So you're saying if we had more guns, it'd be less likely these things would happen, or they'd end sooner.
But you would still have your psychos, and Daryl's saying that is the correct procedure, is to figure out why we have crazy people.
Well, you're always going to have crazy people, but could you have fewer of them that aren't, on all these psychotropic drugs that could be making more people more crazy than they already otherwise would have been?
Or who are being picked on and bullied at school at these big government schools.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So there's some answers for you, Roy. Any other thoughts you want to share tonight? Thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. You can bring up anything that you want here on Free Talk Live at 855-450 free like freedom. So if you end the government school system, which of course forces people, because if you don't go, they'll send cops to your home, and your parents might get arrested.
And if you're having a problem with some individuals at the school, tough luck, son.
You gotta go back.
You gotta go every single day.
Right.
And it's basically set up like boot camp. There is a hierarchy system.
And you've been in the military.
I've been in the military. Like. You're going to have your individuals who are who are going to turn out as leaders because they're either the sportsmen or they're the academics, and they're always going to be at the top of the echelon. I mean, there is a definite a system that can be very unfriendly.
But in addition,
if you are not able to progress through the system, you're going to be at the bottom of the ranks, and you're going to find yourself one of these clowns. And I'm sorry, maybe they're not. One of these individuals who has felt beat on his entire life, and then next thing you know, you're on some kind of drug because you got psychological conditions, and the psychiatrist is like, hey, got to pump this guy full of drugs just to make him feel better. Because, hey, you know what? All you have to do is just get on your Google, go to
Google,
open up a new account.
Alexa, new tab.
Stop. Leave people alone.
And type in "school makes me." School
What is that?
makes
That sounds
me.
creepy.
And look at the search results. And
What does that mean?
So hold on.
And I've tried.
Hold on. Ian's confused here. So you know how when you start doing a search,
it'll fill in.
Google will autofill in.
Oh, school makes me angry. School makes me.
So just start typing those words and then see what the autofill is.
None of the results are positive.
No, right.
None of them are positive.
It's not elated or happy or ebullient or anything like that.
And I'm going to tell you, in my youth, the only reason I did well in school is because I'm very competitive.
Okay.
Because I learned how to memorize.
You're an
by the
apple
way.
polisher.
Yeah. Well, what does that mean?
You polish the apple to give to the teacher.
It's the goody two shoes.
I was in a whole nother realm when you said apple polisher.
Yeah. All right.
He was still thinking about getting video games.
Yeah.
So
hot for teacher.
In addition to just government school existing, there's also compulsory education laws, where it's not necessarily that you have to send little Timmy to the government school. You must send him to a school.
Government approved.
But
not even necessarily. You could send him to an unaccredited private school. You just have to say he's enrolled in this school. Get rid of the compulsory education laws as well as the government schools.
By the way, another good reason to move to New Hampshire, because they are very lenient on the homeschoolers and the no schoolers.
Right,
by
the
the way.
unschoolers.
No special laws or no special tests you have to take.
All right,
we're educating Timmy.
You got more to say on the Cloud Act
Yes.
on the way coming up here, hour number 3. If you want to join us, you can. 855-450 free, like Freedom. This is Free Talk Live.
I tried other brands, but I came back to My Sunshine.
For the best hot or cold pain relief, get the best. Get a Sunny Bay heating pad.
Sometimes life can be a pain in the neck or back or shoulder.
And the best relief for that pain is a Sunny Bay heating pad. Did you know that the American College of Physicians said that one of the best ways to treat muscle pain is heat therapy? Sunny Bay heating pads are handmade with high quality, can be used at home or at work, and have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy.
Why take another pill?
Many people use our Sunny Bay heating pads alone and got rid of the neck pain.
Long distance travel or long hours in front of a computer can take its toll on your body.
See why our homegrown small business at sunny-bay.com has tried to help people just like you. Get your Sunny Bay heating pads at sunny-bay.com. That's sunny-bay.com or call 253-678-1361 for hot and cold therapy. sunny-bay.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, March 28th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.42 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,335 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $17, and the average price of Bitcoin is $8,014. Antiwar.com reports embedded within the vast $1.3 trillion omnibus bill, the U.S. Congress included a provision which quietly managed to slip through. This limits U.S. provisions of deadly arms to Ukraine's military, specifically excluding the neo-Nazi-linked Azov battalion from getting U.S. arms. This was the first time this language, which originated in the House, was proposed, and it actually got included 3 consecutive years' House military spending bills, only to be stripped out in committee to reconcile the bill with the Senate versions. Theoretically, officials note the Leahy law should have already precluded the Azov battalion from getting U.S. aid, given the faction's history of war crimes. Proponents, however, note that the State Department never recognized those crimes, meaning it wasn't clear if they'd followed the law or not. This led to the inclusion singling them out. Though originally a militia and still presented as one in many reports, the Azov battalion is formally now part of Ukraine's special forces and recognized as a National Guard regiment within the country. This is in recognition of their eager attacks on separatists in the ethnic Russian East. The battalion's actual origin dates all the way back to 1982, however, when they established themselves as a band of violent soccer hooligans loyal to FC Metallist Kharkiv. When the civil war in eastern Ukraine began, they quickly reorganized as a paramilitary force, first quasi-governmental and then later official. The group has come under fire for its use of looting and torture, and media reports have many of the fighters in the faction wearing swastika helmets and having SS tattoos. The formal logo of the group includes the logo of the fascist Social National Assembly, though Ukraine's government has claimed all attempts to label them neo-Nazi are Russian propaganda.
You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. That's shop.fppradio.com.
UPI reports a federal appeals court ruled Google violated copyright laws by using Oracle's software when developing its Android mobile platform. Judges from the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit ruled Google's unauthorized use of 37 packages of Oracle's open-source Java Application Programming Interface, or API, while constructing the Android platform in 2009 was unfair as a matter of law. Google argued its use of Oracle software was protected under fair use because it did not directly charge clients to use it, but Oracle said Google's actions were devastating to its licensing strategy as many customers switched to Android. The judges wrote the fact that Android is free of charge does not make Google's use of the Java API packages non-commercial. The ruling reversed a previous district court decision in favor of Google in 2016 and remanded the case to a federal district court in California for a trial on damages. Oracle had been seeking about $8.8 billion in damages at the time of the previous ruling. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports New York, California, and other states vowed on Tuesday to stop the U.S. government from asking in the 2020 census whether people are U.S. citizens, arguing the question could stop immigrants from participating and skew the makeup of Congress. The U.S. Census Bureau decided to include the citizenship question in the once-a-decade questionnaire, saying an accurate count of citizens would help protect minority rights under the landmark Voting Rights Act of 1965, according to the Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross. But opponents feared the decision would have the opposite effect. Arturo Vargas, executive director of the National Association of Latino Elected and Appointed Officials Educational Fund, told reporters it's a scare tactic to try to scare Latinos and others from participating in the 2020 census. Pending legal action from the states or an unlikely intervention from the Republican-controlled Congress, the citizenship question would appear in the decennial census for the first time since 1950. New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman said he would lead a multi-state lawsuit to block the decision. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
The victims of a devastating tornado expressed gratitude that The Onion's three-part series on the disaster was reported with fairness, accuracy, and an unusual degree of sensitivity. Survivors said they were at least thankful for one thing, that The Onion put much more care and insight into their reporting of the tragedy than any competing newspaper, by far. In economic news, a Pulitzer Prize would very much help certain newspapers increase their circulation, resulting in greater ad sales and more revenue to pay their tireless, hardworking reporters, all of whom have families at home to care for. In other headlines, a group known as Americans for Fairness in Awarding Journalism Prizes is asking all Americans to help The Onion receive a Pulitzer Prize. An anonymous man says he will murder 50 innocent people if The Onion is not awarded a Pulitzer. And look at it, it's beautiful. Look, just give us a Pulitzer already, okay? This is humiliating. For more prize-worthy stories and videos, go to theonion.com/review.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. Dial toll free, take control of the airwaves. Bring up anything that you want. A lot of people talking about gun control and the proposals that are on the table. One Supreme Court justice or former Supreme Court justice saying that end the Second Amendment, abolish the Second Amendment. And obviously that's got a lot of people who have opinions that they want to share up in an uproar, as they should be upset about that. And if it does come to pass that they actually do have the support of, what, 3/4 of the states, I think it would be, in order
3/5.
3/5 of the states to make such a change to the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, then maybe that would finally be the kick in the butt that some of the states need to say, you know what, we've had it with this federal government. It is clear that they have gone too far this time, because you do have to wonder what it's going to take to motivate people to embrace the idea of secession. And there's certainly some people where gun control would be their line in the sand, I think.
Or just a collapse, a lot of pain and suffering, a lot of trials and tribulations, or maybe so California is a big pusher of this event. Maybe if Northern and Western California separate, maybe let Western California do what they want.
Absolutely.
There actually is a proposal to have the North and East wind up separating from the coast.
That's right.
I think it's a grand idea. I think it's a grand concept. Let them do it, and let's see what happens. And the feds, maybe they'll stay out of the way, but they probably won't. They'll probably want to get involved.
Well,
and maybe while they're all busy over there in the West,
feds would have to get involved because this new California thing would want to be a new state in the U.S.
That's right. But then there's
which requires congressional approval.
And there's also the California secessionists who want to have California break away and be its own country. And then there's also the state of Jefferson people, which is the Northern California side, that want to break away and make their own state.
Yes.
So there's at least a few different secessionist movements within California.
Yeah, and actually, I wasn't referring to the Jefferson split where they want to be a state and stay within the Union. I was referring to a whole nother country, which is where, I want to go, in which the feds are not going to allow.
There's the proposal for, there's also the proposal for New California that is the inland and the northern counties.
Right, the red zones. Basically,
that they want to become a new state in the U.S. that would require congressional approval, and that's separate from the state of Jefferson, which is just the northern part.
And arguably, in order to secede, they would supposedly have to get congressional approval for that, although I don't think that you should. I think that you should just say, see ya, and leave.
It's the concept is so ridiculous to me. It's like
to have to ask permission to leave.
It's like you're in an abusive relationship.
Totally,
you've been beat on for the last 200 years,
right?
And you have to ask permission from your abuser to leave the relationship.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
He's
going to let that happen.
Yeah, exactly. Or she, or it could be vice versa. And people are all right with this. And I see them every day, and I work with them, and I travel with them, and it's like, yeah,
Well, if
America,
you try to leave, then Abe Lincoln's going to invade.
Yeah, exactly. What are you, one of them slave-owning Southerners? Talking about secession all the time. It's like, no.
Abe Lincoln's going to invade again.
But you know what? I was talking about the trials and tribulations. It's all about the tariffs. It's all about the taxes. It's all about the beatdown that we're getting, and that's what all of these revolutions and these civil wars have sprung up from.
Well,
is from the beatdown, and people are not. They can only take so much, and you got these dumb millennials who are feeling the brunt of all of the last 80 years of the boomers just making these oddball legislations, living the life, getting the American dream, and the millennials aren't going to get any of it. They're not going to get the Social Security, they're not going to get the Medicare, they're not going to get any of it.
They're still holding on.
They're going to feel
they're
it.
Still into the government.
Well, they want the government to take their guns away. They want Hitler to take their guns from them.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's odd to me.
But at the same time, even within the libertarian movement, you've got people like Mark, who's one of the co-hosts on this show, who argues that if you secede, then the Trump's going to put on tariffs and they're going to lock down the borders, and that life would be even more difficult.
I thought Mark last night was advocating for locking down the borders because we can't let them college students vote or
something like that. Yeah,
he's thinking we're going to become the next North Korea or Iran.
Well, no, I mean, the theory is from the people who want you to be afraid of secession. The libertarians, supposedly, who want you to be afraid of secession is, well, but at least now you can cross the border into the other states without having to go through a search, and they don't have tariffs that they're, attaching to us. They're not going to block our port. I mean, so there's all kinds of fear about what the federal government would do in response to a state like New Hampshire, for instance, seceding.
Well, don't go to the other states. Stay in our state.
But this is the same thing of I'm afraid to leave my abusive husband because he might chase after me, he might stalk me, he might kidnap me.
He's going to find my new boyfriend.
Right, he might abuse me or whatever. He'll stalk me at work, and there's all kinds of fear. And if we stay in that state of fear about, well, these are the reasons why we shouldn't secede, we're never going to really get to find out what will happen, because the reality is, we do have the ability to communicate today. we do have the ability to get the word out about what's happening. It's not like a secession would happen in a silence or a vacuum. People would be able to see how the federal government would treat one of its former states. And if indeed they want to take things up to an extreme level of blockading a port or something like that, that's horrible. But, we'd have to cross that bridge when we came to it. I don't think the fears about what might happen should stop people from getting behind a good idea. Otherwise,
right?
In a much safer idea, and a much more free option.
Well, unless they drop a nuke on New Hampshire, right, or roll in tanks,
and that's why I've always said I would rather, New Hampshire's. You think we'd be doing a lot of these, passing a lot of this legislation early on, like legalization of weed or decriminalization or whatever, and we always seem to be last.
At least on that topic.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel the same with secession. I want Texas to do it first.
Just because they're bigger.
They're huge.
Yeah,
I want the feds to deal with them, and while they're off doing their thing...
But while it's Trump time, Texas isn't going to secede.
Well, maybe California then.
Yeah.
Maybe liberal California. And while the feds are dealing with them,
we could just
kind of sneak off.
Sneak off into the night.
I've always said we can kind of group up with Vermont, but today with their gun legislation that they're trying to pass,
we need to get a secessionist to run for governor in New Hampshire. Now, I did it when I was running as the Democrat candidate for the last couple of years. But now that we actually have libertarians who can run for state office
first year
in 20-something years. So essentially, it's the first time in our history here where that can happen. So we're looking to run as many libertarian candidates as possible. But I don't know how many of them are secessionists. I would love to know what the breakdown is of
They
secession.
love their abusive husband.
What was the stat? Wasn't there some kind of secession plank that got added to the Libertarian platform or voted on last year, Daryl? I vaguely recall there was some kind of...
So we do have an independence plank in the platform.
That's new, right?
It got added last year.
Now, wasn't that the executive committee that added it, or was it the full-on...
That was adopted at convention.
That's what I thought.
The executive committee did vote on a resolution supporting peaceful secession.
Okay.
And that was before the plank got added to the platform.
And the independence plank is basically what? What is the...
well, if you give me a second, I can
we can
pull it up because I don't remember the exact wording.
Meanwhile, we'll go to Otis. He's in New York. Otis, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey. How's it going, everybody?
Hey, you're on the air. Go ahead, Otis.
Good to see you guys, Ian. Good to see you, man.
Thanks.
I didn't get I called in yesterday with my grandmother, so I didn't get to talk too much. But, I really enjoyed the show yesterday and the way you handled Mark. Guy was really not making much sense.
He was being a whiny bitch.
I've been hearing a lot of chat about this supposed conversation that went last night. So now...
Oh, it got heated. It definitely got heated in here. I was not happy with Mark.
It was hot, and I'm just wondering, Mark, why you didn't change shirts, though? You're wearing the same
shirt
as yesterday.
Mark's not here, dude. Mark's not here.
I'm sorry, not Mark. Ian. I'm sorry, Ian.
Oh, I'm lazy.
He has
I'm lazy,
He has 3 of those. That's
no, I don't.
He's got one that's black and... He's got one that's black and blue.
Thanks for the call, Otis.
And one that looks just like it that's white and gold, and you can't tell them apart.
That's an internet thing.
That is an internet joke.
But no, I do wear the same shirt multiple days in a row just because I'm lazy, man. I'm not out running a marathon like Daryl is, so I don't...
It's your Find Waldo shirt. Find Ian.
Yeah, right? The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. It's cold in New Hampshire, man.
It's getting warmer, but it's still cold.
I'm more likely to change clothes more often during the summertime, when it's a little warm, you're doing a little more sweating, that kind of thing.
Sweating to the oldies.
Yeah, and plus, if I don't change shirts that often, I don't have to do laundry that often. Again, just pure laziness. We're coming up.
She's such a beautiful little puppy. We walk around the block, and neighbors always say, her hair is so beautiful.
Healthy and shiny and glossy. DINOVITE.com.
Fatty acids, omega-3s, and omega-6s are great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
I would really recommend people starting their puppies on Dinovite before they get into what I would call the misery index. Bad skin, bad ears, bad breath.
Because if they're getting all their vitamins, micronutrients, microbials from the beginning, then you're not going to run into the problems associated with the allergies, grass, pollen, dust, dirt, fleas, ticks, you name it, and the itching and shedding down the road.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
Dinovite for life.
This is Ed Lukasevic.
And Cindy Lukasevic.
inviting you and your pets to Dinovite.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You dial toll-free here, 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype. If you want to Skype into the show, Skype username here is LRN.FM. And joining you in the studio here tonight, you've got Ian.
And Conan.
And Daryl.
Coming up in the summertime, actually about 3 months from now, a little less than 3 months from now, it's Fork Fest 2018, happening at Rogers Campground in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire, June 14th through the 18th. Why is it called Fork Fest?
Because it is a fork of other festivals that have happened in the summer in the campground there at Rogers.
Fork meaning like a split, a schism, a new direction, a different direction than the other festival might have gone in. And so this is a decentralized direction. Rather than having an organizer, there is no organizer. There's just basically a group of people who decided together, let's call it this thing, let's do it these days, and that's pretty much the only kind of consensus there has been, and there's probably not even a consensus on that. There's probably people who are going to come there earlier. There's probably people who are going to come there, in a lesser amount of time, and others who will call it something else. Like last year, it was called Somalia Fest.
And also Shire Fest and Secession Fest
Paxton
and
Fest,
Ian
I think,
Freeman
was one
Fest.
I don't know anyone who called
Freeman
it that.
Fest?
I don't know anyone who called it that one.
Shire Dude, I think.
Shire Dude did.
One time when he may or may not have been high.
So
allegedly.
You go to Forkfest, you're going to find
ever sober?
whatever it is that people want to create for you to experience, or you create for others to experience. Because if nobody creates anything for anyone else to experience, it's just camping in the woods with some libertarians, which is fine on its own volition. But last year we had a couple of parties. There was the rave that was thrown in the dome tent that Ernie from Declare Your Independence put up. So maybe that'll happen again, but that hasn't been announced this time around. This time around, Daryl, you've announced some sporting events
yes.
That you're going to be hosting, including a beer mile.
Yes.
That will be happening.
Beer Mile is an official, there are official rules for Beer Mile. This is not something that I came up with, to where beer is defined in the rules, and if you don't finish the beer and hold the can upside down over top of your head to show that it is empty, then you have to do an extra lap. You cannot pre-open the beers before you run any of the laps.
Okay. So there's like a beer table. You're running a lap that's a quarter mile, basically,
yes.
right? Okay. So now have you mapped out where the quarter mile is at Rogers Campground?
I know roughly where it's going to be.
Okay. Because you did some running while you were there last year.
Yes.
Got that all figured out. In addition, one of our former co-hosts, Jay Noon, is getting married. That's going to be happening during Forkfest. And whatever else you come up with. I know you're throwing a party, Daryl.
There will be a party at some point.
And so those are some of the things that are being put together. There's a forum where you can go and you can discuss what's happening with other people who are intending to attend. There's chat rooms on our Discord chat if you want to get into live chats with people. I haven't really seen too much chatter there so far, but the forum, I think, is probably the most organized way of discussing things. So if there's a thing you want to create your own thread about that, and then you can discuss that thing on that thread. If you want to link to the forum, just go to forkfest.party. That's forkfest.party. And again, once again, it's at Rogers Campground. It's June 14th through the 18th. If you want to go to this, remember, there's no organization, there's no group of people in charge, so you don't have to buy a ticket. There is no ticket. If somebody tries to charge you for a ticket to Forkfest, they might be trying to scam you, because as far as I'm concerned, there is no such thing. What are they going to provide you for that ticket? I don't know. I guess if you've got something on your campsite that's worth paying a ticket or an admission for, then you could keep people out of your campsite, like a sex dome or something like that, right?
I'm just wondering if somebody's going to come up with an ICO, an initial camping offering.
An
ICO for Forkfest.
I haven't been to one of these alternate events. I've only been to the regular Porkfest event, and there's this idea that the libertarians are just all stuffy and they're all studying and they're reading their books and talking about politics. And I've seen some pretty nice parties. Whether it be dudes doing drum circles around the fire, or whether it be the Big Gay Owl or whatever it is.
Big Gay Dance Party.
Which
was retired in 2015.
Big Gay Owl, that sounds like something that Alex Jones would warn you about. And it's turning the frogs gay, they're turning the owls gay.
But, I mean, so how do
the bald eagles are humping you.
How do these alternate... How have these alternate events turned out as far as the party atmosphere?
Well, this is new. I mean, Forkfest started last year. It was Somalia Fest and Shire Fest and whatever else people wanted to call it. It was the several days in front of the Porcupine Freedom Festival, which is that centralized, organized, camping festival that's been going on for a long time. The parties that you're talking about happened at Porkfest, the Porcupine Freedom Festival, in the past.
After hours.
Whenever it was, and some I guess were during the day, but regardless, that was an event that at one time attracted as many as 1,700 attendees. I would say last year's Forkfest probably didn't have more than a couple dozen people. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, last year was the very first year of this decentralized camping event. I'm expecting that we might see more than a couple dozen, but it may not be more than a couple more dozen. I don't know what's realistic. I know that this year, some of the differences between last year and this year is that last year was like, people were like, let's do this before Porkfest. And it was sort of this last minute
and nobody
thing.
really knew anything, and there was a website that didn't really say anything.
Right.
And
now this year we're having a beer run.
Now
so
there's more being announced in advance this year. There's more promotion in advance this year.
Right.
Of course, there's no way to really measure any kind of success because there's no ticket sales, but we could ask Rogers, hey, are the sales up or down this time period compared to last time period?
We're going to have an ICO that launches at the beginning of Forkfest.
It's probably not a bad idea. Is the ICO craze still going?
Oh, it's still going. And there was actually a headline from news.bitcoin.com earlier today that 80% of ICOs are outright scams.
Yeah.
Only 8% ever wind up getting their token listed on any exchange at all.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Which leads me to believe that, well, it's actually 92% of ICOs that never actually do anything.
And you're referring to cryptocurrency initial coin offerings, which is a whole other thing. But that does sort of bring us back to ForkFest. Meaning that forking could also have to do with cryptocurrency as well.
Yes.
So it could be a crypto. I mean, no doubt it'll be a pro-crypto event with a lot of people who are attending likely also to be cryptocurrency users. In fact, it was at ForkFest last year where AnyPay, which is the new competitor to BitPay, one of the merchant services programs for cryptocurrency acceptance, that started at ForkFest last year. So we're looking forward to it this year. I think that it's going to be better promoted this time around. I'm looking to talk to Dave Ridley about getting Ridley Report to do some promotions for ForkFest, because I've been a long-time sponsor of RidleyReport.com and the Dave Ridley videos that he does. I mean, apparently he told me I'm his longest-running sponsor now, so that's cool. It's cool to be in that position. So we've got Free Talk Live ads and Free Keen ads and Shire Society ads that run there, so I'm thinking about just flipping all those ads to promote ForkFest for the next 3 months. So we're probably going to see more promotions of this happening as we work up to it. And again, we'll see what other people want to create. Maybe there's going to be somebody who wants to put on speeches. Maybe somebody wants to show a movie in a tent or something like that. Get a projector out and rent a tent or put up a tent. I don't know. There's different options. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm excited to see what people come up with personally.
3 more months.
Yeah,
Figure
exactly.
it out.
Less than that. So go to ForkFest.party. That's forkfest.party, and that's where you can learn more and link over to the various different community rooms like chat rooms and the forum. All right, we got more coming up here. You can join us more on this internet regulation, plus your calls and thoughts. Certainly welcome. 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Take control of the airwaves on Free Talk Live.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com.
Frustrated trying to get business capital? Want to take the slow process and rejection out of the equation? GCNLoans.com removes the slow, irritating approval process. Instead, get quick, simple funding. Powered by David Allen Capital, 80% of our pre-qualified clients are approved in days. Pre-qualify at GCNLoans.com and get your money this week. It's that easy. GCNLoans.com. That's GCNLoans.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Yep, it's Free Talk Live. You can join us here. You can bring up anything that you want. The toll-free number for you is 855-450-FREE. Joining you tonight, it's Ian.
And Conan.
And Daryl.
855-450-3733. You can also call on Skype. The Skype username is lrn.fm, or jump in the Discord on-air call-in line room over at discord.lrn.fm, where we've actually had a few different calls coming into the Discord, and most of the time, people sound good on Discord. I dare say Discord, on average, sounds better than Skype, and Skype has been better than the phone, so Discord, I think are you looking suspicious on that statement?
I think the
codec.
The sound quality is better, but they're all internet trolls, so I would not say overall it's better.
I would say the crispness is there, but
I'm thinking of Twitch.
There's a little bit of a hollowness.
Well, the Twitch callers have called from the Discord chat. I mean, that is definitely true.
The Twitch callers are trolls.
But they also call on the regular call-in line. So I'm only talking about the quality, not the quality of the audio, not the quality of the call itself.
Right. That's why I had the confused look on my face. Because the calls...
Yeah.
The content of the calls is not necessarily quality.
They've gotten better, though. I mean, I got to hand it to them. You know, they were saying the F word and the N word, and we had to drop them. And we said, look, try to get a little more creative. A little bit, bring a character caller on.
They've definitely gotten more creative, but they're still trolls.
More creative. It's okay. I mean, it doesn't bother me to have trolls call the show. I'm fine with that.
You might even get your soundbite cut so we can listen to you on a regular basis.
Yeah, actually, I did. One of them, I think it was Otis's call the other night. I marked that one for a promo. It was hilarious.
Oh, the guy that gave us passwords?
Yeah. Yeah, it was hilarious. So, sometimes they're pretty creative. But, you got to fail a few times before you're going to get to a good one.
Well,
right?
that's the evolution of a good character. You got to start from somewhere, and you build on it, and before you know it, you're calling in every night.
So check out the Discord chat. You can get interactive there with other Free Talk Live listeners, some of the very callers who you've heard on this show, not just the newer ones, but some of the old ones, like Gene the Christian Anarchist. He's used Discord to call in before, and it sounds pretty great. So go to discord.lrn.fm. Sometimes people in the Discord, they're chatting during the show, but then afterwards they'll actually go into one of the voice chat rooms when the show's over, and they'll have like a group voice chat where they talk about all kinds of different things. So it's a way to get interactive with other listeners of Free Talk Live and other shows as well, because it's also the LRN.FM Discord, so there's a Call to Freedom room in there, and several other categories like gaming, cryptocurrency. There's a Forkfest room in there as well. So go and check it out at discord.lrn.fm. There's apps available for pretty much any operating system you might be using. It's super easy to use, discord.lrn.fm. All right, Daryl, so in the last hour you brought up this cloud act, which originally had failed when they tried to do it by itself. So they brought it back in. under the cover of darkness in the midst of the $1.3 trillion omnibus spending package that Trump signed.
To say that it failed on its own is not accurate. It never was able to be brought up as its own standalone thing.
Okay.
Senators Ron Wyden and Rand Paul attempted to have individual hearings and votes on the Cloud Act, but that request was denied. One thing that should be scary is that Microsoft praised the bill with Microsoft President Brad Smith saying it creates a modern legal framework for how law enforcement agencies can access data across borders.
Awful.
The EFF, however, standing on the side of freedom and privacy here.
Usually they do.
Usually. Every now and then they'll come up with something to where it's like, wait, what were they thinking? They said that... let me see here.
The EFF, the Electronic Frontier Foundation.
Right. No, I
know, you were trying to find your place. Go ahead.
Well, no, not only that, I was reading the sentence out of order, and then it wasn't going to sound right. The EFF says people's private emails, social media chats, and other online communications will be open to foreign law enforcement without a warrant and with very few restrictions on using and sharing information. They say the bill allows the U.S. to bypass privacy laws on U.S. soil.
Look, why don't you guys just trust the government? They're looking out for you.
That's right.
They're just trying to keep you safe from terrorists and drug dealers and other governments.
By creating terrorists and drug dealers.
Well, you got to break a few eggs to make an omelet.
I mean,
but you don't have to create terrorists and drug dealers to then protect me from terrorists and drug dealers that didn't exist before you created them.
I mean, when they were selling those weapons to the Mexican cartels, Daryl, I mean, it was only so they could get in and get the information to better protect us. I mean, it was all part of the game.
Now, wait, are you really saying that the government having access to more information is going to create terrorists and drug dealers? That doesn't make any sense, Daryl.
Well, you said they protect us from terrorists and drug dealers.
That's what they're trying to do. That's why they need access to all of your emails. Because you could be a terrorist drug dealer.
Oh, yeah, and we're just thinking about the outside terrorists. What about all these young children who are being brought up to bomb schools and shoot up kids?
You mean the people that the FBI winds up
the domestic terrorists
coercing into doing things so that they can then say, look, we foiled a plot.
So you're saying you support terrorism. That's what you're saying. You support drug dealing.
Well, I don't have a problem with people selling drugs to people, but I'm not a fan of terrorists.
Right. Well, if you're against us, then you're in favor of the terrorists. That's what George Bush said.
George Bush said a lot of things.
And Trump probably would agree.
He was either
Barack Obama.
He was either a complete idiot or a very sneaky evil genius. Bush, he was. Which do you think? Because he's the painter now. He's living. He's living on his ranch and he's painting it up. And
you know who else was a painter? Hitler.
Oh, nice. All right, let's go to the phones. To your calls and thoughts. Sarah is in New Mexico. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Sarah.
Yes. Bill asked me what taxes I don't like, but I love gasoline, cigarette, alcohol, and sugar taxes because I hate cars, drunk drivers, soda pops, and cigarettes.
Okay. So is there a tax that you don't like?
Well, yes, I don't. I'm against the not gross receipt, but grocery tax.
Okay.
But I get those two very confused.
Okay. You do realize that the gas tax is directly involved with the produce that you buy at the store, so that when the gas tax goes up, your milk is going to go up as well. So if you want cheaper milk, you should also be against
everything.
Everything in the store, in the grocery store, you should be against the gas tax.
So, Conan, can you explain to Sarah why her produce goes up when the gas tax increases?
I think I just did. The gas tax goes up. The drivers
got to pay more to get there,
who are delivering your food from grocery store from distributor to grocery store, Now it costs more. Now they have
right,
to
some amount of every banana or every apple or whatever it is that you buy. Some portion of that price is the gasoline that it took to get that product there.
And this is exactly why this silly tariff tax that many of the people here listening are in favor of. It's surprisingly
the Trumper tariffs.
The Trumper tariffs is going to directly.
But he's going to make America great.
No, it's going to rise the prices of steel, and it's going to rise the prices of your televisions.
So what you're saying, Sarah,
is washing machines.
You're in favor of Trump taxes, Trump tariffs?
Well, the thing is, the grocery tax does not really apply like the price of the food. You guys are just talking about the price of the food, like 10 cents gas going up.
Yeah, but wouldn't you rather? I mean, if you care about poor people, you want them to have cheaper food, right? Because if it costs you $100 to go shopping at the grocery store, but if we got rid of the gas tax, it would only cost you $90 or $80 or something like that. I mean, I'm exaggerating. I don't know what the actual impact would be. But if it costs less, even if it's $5 or $10 less to buy a box of groceries or something like that, that's good for poor people, isn't it?
Well, that's not as important as
so you're saying you hate the poor.
Driving around needlessly and running people over.
See. So you've got your priorities. So the people driving around
she's got a cue card that she's reading from, Ian.
All those people needlessly driving around, you got a problem with them. Everybody else who's actually trying to get products and services from one place to another, well, screw them just because they're driving too. Thanks for the call tonight. More coming up here in moments. This is Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite for life.
Pick up 2 tubes of Doggo Suds.
Get the 3rd tube free.
Peppermint, tea tree, lavender, Doggo Sud shampoo.
Made with all-natural coconut, jojoba, aloe. Great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
But no itchy, harsh chemicals.
Lather up, rinse away.
Try Doggo Suds. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at Zencash.com. That's Zencash.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgristHosting.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You can dial toll free. You can bring up what you want in these remaining moments. We've got enough time for you at 8:55, 450 free, like Free Talk, or like Free Talk Live, like Free Talk Live. I was just reading this headline here at Drudge Report. South Park creators come out. We're Republicans.
I saw that.
I thought these guys were supposed to be libertarians.
There's a bunch of people that are supposed to be libertarians that are Republicans.
You know, I'm
why
sorry.
are you surprised?
You know, when I first, before I knew what a libertarian even was, I always used to claim that I was a South Park Republican.
It even says here in the story.
That was 15 years ago.
Breitbart.
These guys are not Republicans.
Well, let me give you the story here, since we talked about the privacy thing and the government's going to screw your privacy. And
we were done with that.
Yeah, so you want to protect your privacy, then you got to take efforts, and probably should get the Signal app for your phone. That will help a little bit. And then PGP, of course, is a good way to ensure private communications as much as you possibly can. But of course, if they're logging your keystrokes, then you're screwed. So you pretty much, if they want to get you, they're going to get you. South Park creators Matt Stone and Trey Parker reportedly stunned a liberal Hollywood crowd this week after revealing they're proud Republicans. After receiving a Freedom Award from Norman Lear's left-wing organization, People for the American Way Foundation, the pair apparently revealed their true political persuasion. Quote, Trey Parker and Matt Stone of @South Park asked me to introduce them when they received a Freedom Award from Norman Lear's organization. This written by Larry Elder, who is also somebody who at one time had claimed to be a libertarian. He's a talk show host.
And he also was the moderator of a presidential debate on C-SPAN at the Libertarian Convention.
And you were less than impressed with his credits as a libertarian.
Yeah, all of his questions were like, I'm an absolute dum-dum. I don't know freedom.
After they graciously accepted, they said, we're Republicans. Nervous laughter. They repeated, no, seriously, we're Republicans. This is, again, a quote from Larry Elder. The foundation, whose opening website message calls on people to, quote, defeat Trump and the right wing in 2018, unquote, describes itself as a progressive advocacy organization founded to fight right-wing extremism. South Park, meanwhile, has for years ruthlessly mocked aspects of both the left and right of American politics and has recently focused on belittling aspects of political correctness and left-wing campus culture, such as safe spaces and trigger warnings. However, Trey Parker said last year that unlike many comedy shows, South Park would move away from jokes about President Trump as they had gotten boring. Although not overtly political, the pair have long described themselves as libertarians, but have claimed that what they really dislike are the excesses of both political extremes. Quote, what we're sick of, and it's getting even worse, is you either like Michael Moore or you want to effing go overseas and shoot Iraqis, unquote, Parker was quoted as saying in 2004. Another quote, basically, if you think Michael Moore is full of S, then you're super Christian right-wing whatever. And we're both just pretty middle ground guys. We find just as many things to rip on the left as we do on the right. People on the far left and the far right are the exact same person to us, unquote. So were they just trolling?
They were absolutely trolling.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen any South Park episode, they are not one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
They are just what he said. Repubs and Dems are two sides of the same coin to them.
Right, but
And
there are a bunch of people that claim to be libertarians that are in the Republican Party because they believe that
they want to get
the
elected.
Republicans somehow equals libertarian because Barry Goldwater said something.
Yes, some of them want to get elected, and some of them just don't know what it really is. Who is the blonde crier baby? Glenn Beck.
Yeah.
He said he was a libertarian one time. Bill Maher said he was a libertarian.
Yeah.
Both of these guys are not libertarian.
Not libertarians.
They just don't know what it really means.
Well, it does have that allure of we're something different. We want to position ourselves as not like the other guys, even though they're really pretty much like the other guys.
Right.
But, kudos to Glenn Beck at the very least for doing things like putting Penn Jillette on his show. So, I mean, Glenn Beck isn't as bad as he used to be.
He has probably grown a little over the years because of Penn.
Right, because of his influences.
Get on a show and telling them what is.
Yeah.
And, hey, if you want to do something, maybe you should talk to your neighbor about doing it voluntarily and not getting government involved to force your neighbor to do what you want.
I think that's true about Glenn Beck. I mean, I don't know the guy personally. I don't think I've ever even met him. He's been at some of the talk show conventions that we've been to over the years, but he's usually there as like one of those speakers that they sort of, bus in or, bring a limo in. He gets out, gives his speech, and then gets back in the limo after, shaking a few hands. He doesn't stay and hang out for the convention or anything like that. So he's too important for that kind of thing.
And as far as them supporting Trump or something like that, or maybe not doing any more of it, they chose Mr. Garrison to act as their Trump.
Now, this is the teacher character.
The teacher who's completely messed up. He's he's the let's go kill everyone, and
he's saying the things that Trump would say. He's just not
correct. And
he humped the Canadian president to death.
Mr. Garrison is
because
he's a very controversial character.
The Canadians have a president, not a prime minister.
Okay.
There was also a wall on the Canadian border to keep the Americans out.
But they are not holding back. I mean, they're really
they've always seemed to skewer
like it is.
Everybody.
Now, but I can see that the joke is getting old. And let's move on to new content. And Trump and Garrison are getting old, and so let's do something new.
Right. I mean, South Park's one of the longest running animated series. I mean, the only thing that tops it is
besides
Simpsons.
Right.
Yeah.
Simpsons, I think, maybe has close to a decade on top of South Park, but I think they came out late 90s, mid to late 90s.
Mid to late 90s.
Yeah. Simpsons was 89, I believe it was.
And by the way, segue, game of the month.
Yeah, let's hear Conan, since we're talking pop
You're playing
culture
games
here.
on Segways?
Well, I'm not.
You heard that the
That's
guy
dangerous.
that created the Segway died falling off of a cliff on his Segway.
Really?
Correct.
For real?
The creator, as opposed to the guy who is here in New Hampshire, who is actually still doing business. He's trying to do.
I thought the creator was in New Hampshire. No.
No. He's the
Michael.
He's the manufacturer.
Oh.
The actual creator. Yeah, he went off the cliff.
Wow. Was he drinking and segwaying?
Maybe. It was a cliff. But so I can't do game reviews like Johnny Ray does, like every single week, because I just don't play that.
We
many
hardly
games.
ever get Johnny Ray to do his game
or
of the weeks.
Mark. He probably plays a lot of games.
We forget about it half the time, and most of the time with Johnny Ray, it's the same game because he gets into one game and just plays.
Well, that's the thing. So I've been playing basically 2 phone apps, 2 game apps.
You're one of those
for the last
guys.
2 years. In fact, my number one game of the one that I'm actually in a guild. It's Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
So they have guilds for phone games?
Bro, this game is huge. It is very well done. It is very well done. It's Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
And it's a phone game.
I don't play it on my phone. I play it on an 8-inch tablet.
Okay.
And I also have some emulators on my computer so that if I'm at my computer, I could play it. It takes a little longer to load up.
You can emulate the phone game on a computer.
It's an Android emulator.
Yeah.
But that is not the game that I'm recommending tonight because it is already 2.5 years in the making. If you wanted to start playing it right now, you would actually have to spend money to get anywhere.
Because you're fighting against all these other powered-up characters?
These whales. They're called whales.
See, I thought there's some games that'll, match you up against people who are noobs. Like, if you're a noob, you'd get matched up against the noobs. You're saying in this game, you're just thrown right into the rink with the badasses.
You just can't do anything. Yeah, you have to. There's no way to work up unless you start forking out the money. The game that I'm recommending that is still fresh and it's still young and that new players, noobs, can actually get into is South Park's Phone Destroyer.
Oh, okay.
Now it's a
time.
real time strategy game. It's a card game. So you actually collect cards, you collect characters. Now, when you're actually doing battle, PvP battle, player versus player battle with your opponents, you're actually throwing your cards down live. So it's not like Hearthstone
so it's like Magic the
Magic. It's not, because when you throw your cards down, they're live. So you have to throw them down strategically, and they start moving around and they're killing each other. Whereas Hearthstone or Magic, your cards sit there until you destroy them. It's turn-based.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas this is live action.
Oh, interesting. A card game that doesn't have turns?
Well, it's action or energy based. So you can't just throw down 10 of your cards.
Yeah.
You have
You're
energy.
expending a certain amount of energy, and then you gain that back somehow?
Over time, yes.
Mm-hmm. And so it's the South Park characters.
It's the South Park characters.
Voices and all that.
You've got your basic characters. All the Cartmans are the tanks.
Yeah.
All of the Kennys are assassins. All of the Butters are assassins.
Yeah.
So you got different categories of characters. You have different classes. So you have your fantasy, you have your sci-fi, and you can go through the first person stage, and you can open up cards. The best way, of course, to open up cards is through PvP, and then you build your cards.
And this is one of the ways they'll encourage people to pay, right? Is you can pay to buy new cards
to open up packs.
Right.
It's just like
Which
Magic.
You can either earn, or you can earn through playing, or you can just straight up buy them.
And you can be like me, and you can never, ever, ever
never pay.
Right.
But you're having fun.
I'm having a lot of fun. It's a good game.
It's called what? Phone Destroyer? South Park?
South Park's Phone Destroyer.
Thanks for the recommendation, Conan. We'll be back tomorrow night. You can join us online. In the meantime, head on over to freetalklive.com. You want to give out your username so people can challenge you? Is that possible?
Mesana, MESANAUNA.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, March 28th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.42 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,335 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $17, and the average price of Bitcoin is $8,014.